Well, the calendar now officially reads July, but before the 4th on Friday, it's time for more Commodores baseball right back here at Gov Fuller Field. Falmouth hosts the Bourne Braves for the first time this season in Game 14 of the 2025 Cape League season. And here to open the door alongside Andrew Della Piana and Ben Haller, I'm Ryan Martin. Andrew, let's start with the last time the Commodores were out, a 9-7 win over Chatham right here from the Gov. First time we saw the comeback Commodores in 2025.
Yeah, you prefer comeback Commodores. I prefer cardiac Commodores. 4 runs in the 5th inning, the 6th inning, and after they trailed 5-1 in that ball game, you start to say, oh no, here we go again, where the pitching lapses, have a 5-run inning for Chatham, but Mike Anu really a huge spark plug in that 5th inning to set the tone, get the Commodores back in and eventually win that ball game.
Yeah, and in that game, Mike Anu was doing nothing new. Ben, he now leads the Cape Cod Baseball League with 4 homers on the year, had that 3-run blast against the Anglers.
Yeah, like Andrew said, he was a big reason for that comeback. I don't know if cardiac new rolls out the tongue.
Not really.
Like cardiac Commodores or cardiac Kemba, but he's somebody, once they went down 4, a 3-run home run to get him within 1. They went down 2 again, an RBI single to get him within 1 once again. Like I said, league lead with 4 home runs. I don't know if anybody had him circled as the guy for Falmouth coming into the year, but opponents certainly have him circled now.
So New and the Commodores now face the Bourne Braves, Andrew, and it's a Bourne team that's lost 4 consecutive, while Falmouth has won 3 of its last 4. Both of those streaks started with the Commodores win at Durham Park on Wednesday. Left-hander Easton Barrett was a big reason why the Doors pulled off that win. He'll start today against the Bravos.
It might be a lot of deja vu tonight for Bourne, seeing Easton Barrett once more. He was spectacular out of the bullpen against that Braves team. 2 scoreless innings, 2 walks allowed, 3 strikeouts, and really a dominant effort after Caden Ishman finished off his starting very impressively. So Barrett getting that ball again, expecting hopefully the similar results that he saw last time out against the Braves.
Alongside Barrett, it's a lefty-on-lefty battle as the Bravos send out new South Carolina left-hander in Alex Valentin. First pitch between the Commodores and the Bravos set right here for Gov Fuller Field at 6 p.m.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: 99 Restaurants, Badger Sports, the Baldwin Group, Bluebird Dennisport, Bridgewater State University, Cape Destinations. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
The first day of July brings us back to Gov Fuller Field for Game 14 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season between the Bourne Braves and the Falmouth Commodores. Welcome into Gov Fuller Field, everybody, here on Cape League TV. Alongside Ben Haller, I'm Andrew Della Piana. Falmouth currently sitting at 6-7, Ben, and winners of 3 of the last 4, as you just heard, probably playing some of their best ball right now.
I definitely think it's some of their best baseball, and I think it's all parts of the team, too. The offense definitely has been better. I like the comeback. We talked about it on opening the door. They were down 4, they were down 2 at 2 separate times against a very talented Chatham Anglers team and got the win. After, a game that was cut short, the only loss in that 4-game stretch was a game that was only played for 5 innings. So 3 wins of those last 4 games. Offense has been a lot better. Pitching's been more consistent, too.
And to talk about some of that good ball, our third member of our crew, Ryan Martin, spoke with infield coach Quinn Stromberg a little bit earlier. Ryan?
Thanks, Andrew. Opening the door continues here as we're joined by assistant coach Quinn Stromberg, a guy who knows his Bourne Braves team are playing well. Quinn, 13 games in, how are you doing so far?
I'm loving it. We're going to get hot here. We're going to get on a streak. And, right now we're just piecing games together. And eventually we're going to get it rolling.
Getting it rolling. It's something that you picked up maybe from your first season in Bourne last year. We talked all about Jared Salzamaki, his history with the Braves, but you as well. What was it like going back to Durham Park on Wednesday, a place you know from last season?
It was definitely special seeing the people, that ran it last year. They were still there, and it was awesome. But, we walked in there and wanted to take care of business, and we did, and we're going to do it again tonight. So
Pretty good field manager as well in the other dugout. What did you learn from Scott Landers in that 1 year there?
I learned a lot. He's a great guy. Truly someone I aspire to be one day, and I can't wait to coach my team like he does in the future.
A lot of history with Landers in Czechoslovakia. Also with Landers and assistant coach Quinn Stromberg, who joins us on Opening the Door. Back to you, Andrew.
Some great insight there, Ryan, from Coach Stromberg. And yeah, that infield had to play an important role in that comeback. You think about players like Adrian Lopez, who had a couple of double plays. He had that nice one when he caught it, stepped on second to get that double play. And of course, after that game, Lopez saying defense and even your pitching wins a lot of championships. It's been important so far out of these last couple of games for Falmouth.
There were a couple of really nice plays. We've talked about it, just how consistent that defense has been all year. Maybe the most impressive part of this team. This is a lineup that's starting to be really consistent just in terms of who guys are, or what kind of guys are in the lineup. My favorite double play was that 1-6-3 to end it.
Oh,
when Chatham
was, yes,
threatening
that was nice.
with one out of the ninth, and when Falmouth just had that 2-run lead.
Yeah, speaking of nice stuff, our Will Rosen public address announcer was at the Touch a Truck event last Sunday as part of a community event with the Falmouth Commodores. Take a listen.
William Rosen here for the Falmouth Commodores. We're at the Touch a Truck event at Falmouth High School. Let's see how many trucks we could touch, let's see who we could talk to, and let's see how great of an organization this is. The Touch a Truck event here in Falmouth gives back to the police services all across the state of Massachusetts and on Cape Cod. I told you not to show my cars. Nice. Here at the Touch a Truck event, and we have something very special going on here. Bear Harrison and producer Dan Papillo going to do the throw and land in the dunk tank challenge. Bear's going to throw. Dan, you're going to be in the dunk tank. You think you could hit him?
I think so.
All right,
so.
you
I
ain't
should.
hit me.
I should.
No way.
Yeah, I definitely should.
Let's see. This is going to be cool. Oh!
It was a malfunction.
Go Dorn. It's going to close out our time at the Touch a Truck Festival. A lot of trucks, a lot of dunks, and a lot of fun with your Falmouth Commodores.
Will Rosen is always an exceptional member of the community. Touched 12 trucks. We got to dunk our producer Dan Papillo as well. Bear Harrison getting on the fun as well. Looked like a fun event to be a part of.
That's not fair, though. Justice for our producer, Dan Papillo. That ball did not dunk Dan. There was an extra push there at the end. And, Will, that's a lot of trucks. I think you touched it faster than I could.
Do you think you could get past 12?
No, not in that time period, no.
All right, well, if you want to find out more community events, go check out falmouthcommodores.com. Probably the most important one we have coming up is on July 10th, a Meet the Coaches, where you can meet the entire Commodores coaching staff as this Falmouth team just about to take on the Bourne Braves in meeting number 2 of the season. Easton Barrett gets the ball tonight for the Commodores, and Ben, he was phenomenal in that first meeting between these two teams.
Yeah, he was, and this is a pitching staff that I think we talked about being more consistent. A lot of it is just some of these late additions. Easton Barrett, one of the more recent guys to join this Falmouth Commodore team. It's the young talent I really like. Easton Barrett's a different look than a lot of these Commodores pitchers as a lefty. Got a really good breaking ball and a nice pitch mix.
And for the Braves, they're in an interesting spot right now, losers of 4 straight. It's been the strikeout that's really been their downfall. They've got their season total up to 139. That is by far the most in the league. The second team behind them sits at 120 right now, so it's going to be interesting seeing what Bourne rolls out. Of course, another big storyline we can mention as well is Jared Saltamakio going against his former team of Scott Landers, and Quinn Stromberg was also part of that coaching staff, and Coach Schulte was unbelievably exceptional at his time with Bourne. 3 seasons, 3 division titles, 2 championships as he goes against his former manager in Scott Landers for the second time this season tonight. All right, that's enough from us. We'll talk to you in just a little bit. And now we'll send things over to our public address announcer, Will Rosen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Arnie Allen Diamond at Go Fuller Field for tonight's Cape Cod Baseball League matchup featuring the visiting Bourne Braves and your Falmouth Commodores. Tonight's community group is the Falmouth Newcomers. The Newcomers are a social group that welcomes and affirms the diversity in our community. Our club's purpose is to create opportunities for members to foster friendship through social events, programs, and activities, and to increase their knowledge of our community. We welcome the Falmouth Newcomers and welcome the board members onto the field. And now they will present a $200 check to Commodores President Bob Curtis. Thank you, newcomers. And now it's time to meet tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting Bourne Braves. The manager of the Braves is Scott Landers. Leading off, the shortstop from Vanderbilt, number 3, Riker Waite. Batting second, the second baseman from West Virginia, number 7, Gavin Kelly. Batting third, the right fielder from the University of Arkansas, number 25, Kuhio Aloy. Batting fourth, the designated hitter from Wake Forest, number 23, Cade Lewis. Batting fifth, the first baseman from Vanderbilt, number 34, Braden Holcomb. Batting sixth, the left fielder from Texas Tech, number 14, Logan Hughes. Batting seventh, the third baseman from Oregon, number 11, Ryan Cooney. Batting eighth, the center fielder from St. John's, number 1, John LeGrand. And batting ninth, the catcher from Wake Forest, number 33, Jimmy Keenan. The pitcher this evening for the Bourne Braves is a lefty from South Carolina, number 32, Alex Valentin. And now it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Falmouth Commodores. First up, the manager in his first season, World Series champion, Jared Saltalamacchia. Leading off, the right fielder from Cal Berkeley, number 8, Carl Schmidt. Batting second, the second baseman from the University of Maryland, number 2, Antonio Morales. Batting third, the shortstop from the University of Southern California, number 18, Adrian Lopez. Batting fourth, the center fielder, number 3, Micah New. Batting fifth, the first baseman from Georgia Tech, number 10, Kent Schmidt. Batting sixth, the catcher from Texas A&M, number 27, Bear Harrison. Batting seventh, the designated hitter from Notre Dame, number 20, Mark Quattroni. Batting eighth, the left fielder from Southern Mississippi, number 7, Kyle Morrison. And batting ninth, the third baseman from Tennessee, number 26, Chris Newstrom. The pitcher for your Commodores this evening, a lefty, number 1, Easton Barrett. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that if you're able to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who protect our freedoms with the singing of our national anthem. Singing tonight are the Falmouth Singing Newcomers. The Singing Newcomers share the love of singing in a 4-part choral music with fellow Commodore fans. Here they are, whenever you're ready.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Absolutely beautiful, the Falmouth newcomers. And now it's time for tonight's ceremonial first pitch. Here to throw out tonight's first pitch, the treasurer of the Falmouth newcomers, Dan Scott. Dan, whenever you're ready. Oh, yeah. There you go, Dan. Thank you, Dan Scott, treasurer of the newcomers. And now, board members.
The lineups have been read, the anthem has been sung, and we are just about ready for baseball between the Bourne Braves and the Falmouth Commodores. Welcome back into Gov Fuller Field, and welcome into the broadcasting booth as well. Alongside Ben Haller, I'm Andrew Del Piano. This matchup just about to get started between these two teams. Now, again, let's go back to what happened the last time these two teams met. Falmouth taking that ball game 5-3, and there was a point in the game where the Braves didn't get a single runner on for 4 straight innings, whether it was Caden Eschman or Easton Barrett. Those two combined to go 4 innings, retired all 3 hitters, and it really fueled that comeback eventually for Falmouth in that one.
Well, Bourne saw 2 legit arms in that game against Falmouth. And Easton Barrett, another one they're going to see today, obviously, in a different role from reliever to starter. But I think the most impressive thing, you know, the 4 innings with nobody on is great, but there were a couple times after that where Bourne did threaten, and Easton Barrett shut it down a couple of times. I mean, this is a pitching staff that is just so experienced now. To have someone as young as Easton Barrett, who's so talented and just so unshaken by the moment, is one of the most impressive things for a rising sophomore.
It was the big blow in that 5th inning delivered by Kent Schmidt after a bases-loaded 2-run single that eventually gave Falmouth a 5-3 lead in that ball game, and they would eventually win that ball game by 2. Let's meet you tonight's starting lineup, starting with the Bourne Braves. Playing shortstop, leading off is Riker Waite. Batting second is the second baseman, Gavin Kelly. In the 3 spot, it's the right fielder, Kahio Aloy. Batting the cleanup spot, it's the DH number 23, Kay Lewis. Batting 5th, the first baseman, number 34, Braden Holcomb. In the 6th spot, the left fielder, number 14, Logan Hughes. Batting 7th, the third baseman, number 11, Ryan Cooney. Batting 8th, the center fielder, number 1, John LeGrand. And rounding out the order, batting 9th, is the catcher, number 33, Jimmy Kean. Definitely a lot of threats on this lineup, Ben. And it comes at a point where Braden Holcomb and Logan Hughes, those have been the catalyst for the Braves so far, but they're just not producing wins right now, and that's the biggest thing.
It's interesting to go top to bottom in this lineup, and it doesn't really feel like the guys who perform the best are all in the top of the lineup. Logan Hughes batting 6th today. And it's not like he also, you know, just on paper and what he did back at his school is one of the most talented bats in this Bourne lineup. It's more balanced and spread out throughout the lineup, whereas opposed Falmouth, you see those heavy hitters at the top of the lineup. But, of course, anytime Bourne is in town, everyone's excited to see one half of the Hawaiian Bash brothers and Kahio Aloy from Arkansas, and that's always going to be a tough out in the lineup. Him batting 3rd in between Kelly and Lewis. It is a lineup, despite losing 4 straight games, that has the ability to go out and just end the game in 1 or 2 innings and put together crooked innings.
And one half of the Bash brothers is here today, as we mentioned, with Kahio and his brother Vahia currently just won the Golden Spikes Award as the best player in collegiate baseball. most likely on his way to the draft very soon. The defense behind Easton Barrett tonight is as follows from left to right in the outfield. Kyle Morrison out in left, Mike Anu in center, Carl Schmidt in right. Left to right in the infield is Chris Newstrom, Adrian Lopez, Antonio Morales, and Kent Schmidt, with Bear Harrison doing the catching for Easton Barrett. And we talked about it. Will be the first time he's coming out as a starter this season. His previous 2 appearances have been out of the bullpen, a sub-2 ERA so far, through 6 innings, the 9 strikeouts, and he's been a lot of fun to watch so far, Ben.
Yeah, first start this summer, but certainly not his first start of this year. He's got 10 starts at Arizona State a season ago. Now, he was not used as a typical starter, used much as an opener for Arizona State last year, but he does have the ability, again, Cape Cod League baseball, you don't really see pitchers go more than 4 or 5 innings despite how well they're pitching due to pitch count limits. So he's someone that has the ability to give you 4.
Tonight's umpires is as followed. At home plate, it's Marvin Gomez calling balls and strikes. At first base, Ricci Antonio. And down the third base line, Anthony Brunetti. First pitch temperature, the solid night out there, 76 degrees. Wind blowing a little bit out towards center field.
Solid night. I don't know what more needs to be done to impress you. I think 76 is like perfect night for baseball. We've had that for the last few days now. It was raining earlier today, but all those clouds are gone now.
Easton Barrett wrapping up his final warm-up pitches. Yesterday, an off day for both these teams. The players you'll see in today's game also featured in the MLB Draft League Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star Game yesterday that transpired at City Field, if you will. Kind of like a pre-All-Star event, if you will.
Yep. It's also nice because some of the best players are going to be gone because of the draft and whatnot before the actual All-Star game. So to be honored kind of as a different sort of All-Star and still get that honor.
And the guy you see on the screen, Mike Anu, was one of those participants alongside Caden Eschman. So we are just about to get ready for baseball with Riker Waite into the batter's box. And we are underway from the Gov, and Waite wasting no time as he belts one to deep left center field, and this one is gone. First pitch of the ball game, Riker Waite wastes no time, and off a one swing of the bat, the Braves take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Riker Waite was ready. This is a Bourne team that has really not hit a lot of home runs this season. That's the first on the year for Waite, and sometimes all it takes is just getting your pitch and being ready. A lot of times, you use that first pitch as your starting pitcher to just settle in, but top of the Bourne lineup, that's very dangerous and can't afford anything like that.
Well, you cannot ask for a better start than that for a team that has lost 4 straight games. 1-0 Bourne in the top of the first. Here's Gavin Kelly. He goes after the first one as well.
Sometimes, though, after that solo home run, the one run just coming on that home run can kind of give you some time to settle in. Nobody on the base paths now. Just a fresh start for Barrett as opposed to, maybe getting a run on a couple of base hits.
Kelly, the redshirt sophomore from West Virginia, nubs one down the first base line. Barrett tried to field it with the glove hand and can't do so. And Gelly's going to reach first.
Yeah, Barrett, that one just did not realize how much time he had. He just sort of backhanded it. That's going to go as a single, but I think had a little bit more time than he thought he did. Could have even picked that up with his bare hand. No need to rush.
So not the start that Easton Barrett was looking for after he went 2 scoreless innings last time out against the Braves. Kohio Aloy digs in, the rising junior from Arkansas. He starts him off with a breaking ball. A chopper third base side, corralled by Newstrom across the diamond in time for out number 1.
It's going to be a big storyline for us all game long because it's been the first 13 games for Falmouth, just how solid the defense has been. Another play that Newstrom just makes look a lot easier than it was. That took a really bad hop at the end where Newstrom had to come down to get it. And Aloy is one of the faster players on this Bourne team, but still calm, cool, and collected over the first.
Bourne wasting no time trying to get this offense going. They've only seen 4 pitches, and there's been 3 batters. Lefty on lefty with Cade Lewis. Lewis, the rising junior from Wake Forest, has the third best average on the Cape so far with 340-41. Swing and a miss. Was a Golden Spikes semifinalist, that being in the top 25 of that award. That was announced a little bit 3/4 of the way through the season.
Yeah, just the more levels that Lewis went up is just still so consistent, staying so solid, going from Big East freshman of the year at Butler to now at Wake Forest. His numbers didn't really dip going from the Big East to the ACC. Proved he was ready for it.
Part of what feels like plenty of Wake Forest Demon Deacons here on the Cape in 2025. Lewis so far this season with that 341 average, also tied for first in hits with 15. Hitters count here. Goes after it, foul tipped into the mitt for strike 2.
The good thing for Barrett, too, is he's got really good strikeout stuff. 41 of them a season ago, and his 39 at 2/3 innings pitched. Bourne already with a run in, but still someone in scoring position with one out.
Lewis sends it right back where it came from. One hopper corralled by Lopez and makes the play as Schmidt comes off the bag just a little bit, but keeps the foot on it.
Pretty hard hit back up the middle, kind of makes up for that infield single on some soft contact. But Adrian Lopez does another really good job for Falmouth.
2 gone with a runner on second. Already 1-0 Bourne thanks to the leadoff home run by Riker Waite. Yes, here's Braden Holcomb, the rising junior from Vanderbilt. Batting just below the Mendoza line through 13 games so far. It's been the strikeouts that have been the big problem for him. 15 so far, top 5 on the Cape.
And you mentioned it, this Bourne team strikes out a lot. And, that doesn't necessarily mean as negatively as it did maybe 30 years ago, but still a team that just hasn't had a lot of success at the plate. Pitching staff's been solid in that 4-game losing streak.
Last time out for the Braves, they were no hit through 6 innings. Eventually led to a 2-0 loss last time out on Sunday.
And that was against another struggling Harwich team.
Yep. Quickly 0-2 to Holcomb, who was a hero last Monday. Had a walk-off single in the victory against Katuitt. He's got a tattoo on his left arm that says, "Pressure is privilege." And boy, was it ever in that walk-off victory. Second season with Bourne for him. Was a Cape League All-Star last summer. There it's 0-2. Is slapped the other way towards right field. Schmidt's underneath it, and he makes the grab. So despite the first pitch home run for Riker Waite, no other damage done for Easton Barrett. As we are just underway here from Gov Fuller Field, we'll see the Falmouth bats for the first time. Bourne 1, Falmouth 0, as we go to the bottom of the first here on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Veolia North America, Wilson Sporting Goods, Yawkey Foundation, Netting Pros, Falmouth Publishing Company, Butler Sporting Goods, SportsFix, Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, Sunderland Printing, Delmar Vacation Rentals, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Commodores 1-0. Let's meet the lineup that Jared Saltamacchia sends out. Leading off is the right fielder, number 8, Carl Schmidt, followed by the second baseman, Antonio Morales. Batting third, the shortstop, Adrian Lopez. In the cleanup spot, the center fielder, Mike Anu. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Kent Schmidt. In the sixth spot is the catcher, Bear Harrison. Batting seventh, the DH, number 20, Mark Quattrani. Batting eighth is the left fielder, number 17, Kyle Morrison. And rounding out the order is the third baseman, number 26, Chris Newstrom, as they will go against the lefty, Alex Valentin. The rising junior, transfer from Texas State, will spend next spring at South Carolina. Has put up some really solid numbers so far in his first 2 starts, Ben. It's funny, this is his second consecutive start after an off day. And the last off day, he went 5 scoreless innings, allowed just 3 hits with 2 strikeouts, hoping to match that once again today against Falmouth.
Yeah, Valentin's been great, and he's someone that's had such an interesting career in college. He's moved up despite the ERA not being great, but always someone that just has so much potential because of the stuff he has. Fastball, mid-90s.
He has a 4-pitch mix where you'll see the fastball about 60% of the time, a slider every third pitch or so, and a changeup and a curve in the arsenal as well. But a very heavy fastball pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike to Carl Schmidt.
And Alex, I don't know what the odds are of this, but that is now the 5th lefty starting pitcher that Falmouth faces in the last 6 games.
Interesting, because the first 5 or 6, it was straight righties
All
throughout.
righties, yeah.
And it was really cold with the bats. Schmidt powers it the other way. It drops in for a base hit. And similar to what Waite did, the leadoff man gets on for the Commodores.
It's so interesting, too, because it's a Falmouth team that hits lefties particularly well. And, again, you're playing Summer League. A lot of it's more scripted with the pitchers. You're not always looking at his matchups as maybe you would, but Carl Schmidt and Antonio Morales, I can't stress how important it is having both of them at the top of the lineup. Both of them just punching it the other way have the ability to.
And he sent that pitch right back where it came from to
all
right
parts of the
field.
Yeah.
Here is that lefty on lefty with Antonio Morales. Just south of a 300 average through 12 games so far. Did not play last time out on Sunday. First time he has not played in a game this season. Didn't matter, though, in the victory against Chatham. Commodores still pulled that out 9-7. And he has been an on-base machine, getting on over 40% of the time. Two balls, no strikes. Rising junior transferring over to Maryland after 2 seasons at Wake Forest.
Interested to see what that off day does for him, too. It's back-to-back off days. And of course, not having a game yesterday and getting off out of the starting lineup 2 days ago. But he hasn't really had many of those since he got to Falmouth.
3 balls, no strikes to Morales.
You come into the season with just so many guys on your roster. This team came into the year with 15 hitters on the roster. The lineup was changing every day the first week of the year, but Antonio Morales was that one mainstay. He hit in different parts of the lineup, but he was always in that lineup since day one.
And really, he has been Mr. Consistent, more so at the top of the lineup rather than that second spot. I believe Maryland will likely use him in that same spot next spring. Solid lead off of first for Schmidt. Check back to first. You mentioned Valentin's journey just a little bit, but it has been interesting. Started at Nova Southeastern, then goes over to Texas State, and now going to South Carolina. 3 schools in 3 years. Another check at Schmidt.
And obviously, a step up each of those 3 years, going from the Division II level to a somewhat of a mid-major. Of course, Texas State still a very good program, and then now to an SEC school. That's after ERAs of 5.4 and then 6.1 a season ago.
Morales turns on it quickly and bolts it towards right field, but way out of play. Valentin this season 5-5 with a 6.12 ERA and 16 appearances. Opponents hit .230 against him.
Yeah, the batting average against usually a pretty good sign. And Valentin, too, somebody who walked a lot of batters, 37 walks in his 67 and 2/3 innings pitch. It's pretty standard, I would say. Didn't really strike out a ton, only 58 of them on the year.
Third check over.
But I'd be interested to see Valentin's worst outing of the season came against South Alabama. He gave up 9 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings. Kyle Morrison spent last year at South Alabama in the lineup.
Morales up the middle, and it's in for another base hit. You don't have to hit it too hard, but it's dropped in perfectly in front of the outfield. Back-to-back singles for Falmouth to begin the first.
Well, that's the same exact thing from Carl Schmidt, Antonio Morales, having 2 of those guys hitting 1-2. They're not combining on those 2 base hits for an exit velocity of 200 plus. Just doing what they need to do. It's the middle approach, up the middle approach for Antonio Morales that he always talks about. It is just so impressive, and he's just been able to be so consistent with.
Valentin threw that right down the middle. Walks were a big issue for him this season. There was just one outing where he didn't have a free pass given up. 2 on, nobody out for Adrian Lopez, who had a phenomenal game last time out. 3 for 4 effort. Second time he's had a multi-hit game. Also a couple defensive standout plays as well. We mentioned a little bit earlier in the telecast. Celebrates his 21st birthday next week. Bouncer in the dirt, nicely blocked by Keenan. Lopez's numbers so far this season, 6 for 21. Got hit in the head with a pitch on the 15th of June, just about half a month ago against Brewster. And it's good to see him back in the lineup, but he also got kind of banged up last time around. There was a throw down to second base. He got hit in the lip.
He called it lip to lip. It hit the lip of the second base bag and then jumped up and hit him in his lip. And that thing was pretty big for a couple of days, but I'm starting to feel better. And again, a Falmouth team that right now on the active roster, not a whole lot of guys on the bench. You do have a middle infielder and Ben Royo not in the lineup today. And then a catcher and David McCann. Those are the only 2 bench bats on the active roster. John Smith, Landon Moran no longer with the team.
I mean, when we were watching infield, outfield, we noticed there wasn't a lot of people, extra people, players taking reps, if you will.
It looked like they only let the starters take IO. That's what it looked like.
Valentin, a big fan at Carl Schmidt over at second. That's his 4th pickoff move against him. 1-2 count to Lopez. Both teams with 2 hits aside in the first inning. Taken just below the knees of Lopez. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Schmidt the runner on second, Morales on first. Both with singles in the first frame. Valentin steps back up to the first base side of the bump. It's 2-2. Commodores' patience, I should say these Commodores hitters have been very patient here in this first frame. Some long at-bats that have turned into base hits. And here's another one. Lopez rockets one into left center field. That one is down. Schmidt getting away from third. He'll score with ease, and the hot bat continues for Adrian Lopez thanks to the RBI single. And we are tied at 1 apiece in the bottom of the first.
Something this Falmouth offense is doing so well is just putting hits together, and here's the big bet. Mike Anu coming up.
And Mike Anu has been phenomenal this season.
Power on power on power. He is now by himself in the Cape Cod Baseball League lead with 4 of them.
And that might not tell the whole story of how good Mike Anu has been this season, as you just heard your call with his 4th home run on Sunday. That is first in the league right now.
Back to my point after the Adrian Lopez single, it's starting to look like the big league build of a roster where you have just that all-star power bat with Mike Anu, and then a team that just puts together base hits. That's what they did against Chatham on Sunday. That comeback after they were down 2 might have been the more impressive one, just because it was RBI single after RBI single after RBI single, 3 of them, the third one being a 2 RBI single to go from down 2 to up 2. It's not like it's power that's popping up here and there. This is just a consistent offense, at least in the last week.
Lopez takes off. Throw down to second is offline. Gets away. Lopez steals the bag. Morales scurries back to third. So it is a stolen base for Adrian Lopez. And 2 ducks on the pond for Mike Anu. Time called at home plate by Jimmy Keane. Wants a word with his starter. The first inning has really got to Bourne a couple times this season. In 6 of Bourne's 8 losses, opponents have scored at least 1 run or 3 or more.
I mean, that's
That doesn't tell the story. I don't know what does. 1-2. The breaking ball, New swings right through it, and that's a big first out for Alex Valentin.
You know, this Bourne bullpen has been pretty good, and that's one of the frustrating parts about it for Bourne fans is just some of the starting pitching struggles, obviously, with the stat you just read off.
And next at bat, Kent Schmidt, also one of the hotter hitters on this Commodores lineup, has got a home run in back-to-back games. Tied for 7th in the league in RBIs with 8, looking to add to that total.
And it's impressive, too, to look at his numbers, especially with how slow of a start he got off to. That shows you how hot that he's been. I mean, 2 home runs in the last 2 games. That doesn't even tell the full story. 2 RBIs against Chatham last game as well. An RBI single to go with that solo shot.
If you look at that average just about a week ago, it was well below the Mendoza line, around 170, 180. He's really crawled back. And that 3-for-5 effort on Sunday went 1-for-2 against the shortened game against Hyannis. Nearly runs into Hitschmidt. Count 2-1. Morales at third, Lopez at second. Lopez with the RBI single in the first to drive Schmidt in to tie this game at 1. Swing and a miss. Now, you notice that little shimmy that Valentin's doing. He kind of went viral for it during the season as some sort of timing mechanism to mess up hitters just a little bit. It was picked up by D1 Baseball, and they loved it. Tried to jam Schmidt there. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes once more.
There's a little Johnny Cueto-esque.
It's interesting, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
I don't know if he rotates as much as Cueto did, but...
Schmidt rolls over. High chopper to first. Easy out at first, but it does the trick. RBI ground out for Kent Schmidt, and Falmouth takes its first lead of the ballgame, 2-1.
Those are the kind of runs that Falmouth scores that Saltalamacchia is going to be happy with. Early in the season, it was all about just putting the ball in play, being a team that capitalizes and plays a little small ball when they have guys on second and third. Doesn't need to be a 3-run home run every time. And kind of contrary to a Bourne team, this Falmouth team, as of late, has not struck out a whole lot. They had a couple of those problems very early in the year, especially that first game. But since then, it's been pretty clean. They put the ball in play.
Valentin starts off Harrison with a strike. Here, Harrison, the rising junior from Texas A&M. Also tied with Schmidt for 7th in the league with those 8 RBIs. Set the tone early in the season with that 2-run effort against Orleans. Has quieted down just a little bit. That batting average sits at .226 right now. Back to that breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lopez at third. After Morales was just driven in on the RBI ground out. Harrison pokes one deep into center field. LeGrand racing back to the track, the wall, and he makes the grab on the back pedal. But the Commodores strike twice to take a 2-1 lead, as there's been some early offense here from Gulf Fuller Field. Falmouth 2, Bourne 1, as we go to the second on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Veolia North America, Wilson Sporting Goods, Yawkey Foundation, Netting Pros, Falmouth Publishing Company, Butler Sporting Goods, Sports Fix, Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, Sunderland Printing, Del Mar Vacation Rentals, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm Grayson Sagne, right-handed pitcher from Texas. I'm a junior, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Let's go.
Meeting number 2 of the season between Falmouth and Bourne. The first one went the way of the Commodores at Doran Park. And we talked about Easton Barrett a little bit earlier. He was fantastic in that. Kent Schmidt also had a big game as well. Despite that 1-for-5 effort, did have 2 RBIs as part of that 4-run fifth. And hopefully a game that has kind of really set the tone for what could be the rest of the season for the Commodores, Ben.
Yeah, that was the beginning of both sides. It's the beginning of the 3-4 wins for Falmouth. It's the beginning of Bourne's 4-game losing streak. It's, again, just 40-game season. It kind of feels like one single game of basketball where they call it a game of runs. It's a streaky game. You're going to win a few games in a row. You're going to lose a few games in a row.
And that's the big thing. First-year manager Jared Saltamaki has talked about a lot this season. You can't get too high. You can't get too low, especially in these shortened seasons as well. Easton Barrett back on the bump. And the first to face him in this frame is Logan Hughes, the star rising junior from Texas Tech. Top 10 in a number of offensive categories. Home runs, OPS, walks, on-base percentage, average, you name it. That was after a little bit of a down year, too, for Texas Tech, where he had 11 of his 19 home runs in conference play. Barrett missing with the breaking ball. 3 balls, no strikes. Uses take all the way, and it's above the letters for ball 4. A leadoff walk on 4 pitches for Easton Barrett to start the second.
This already has a feel of the kind of feel that a game that might not just see 3 runs total. And part of that's just because Barrett on the Falmouth side and then Valentin on Bourne's side have just used so many pitches already, and only 6 outs have been recorded in this game.
That was pitch 17 for Barrett. Valentin threw 28 in the first frame. As here's Ryan Cooney from Oregon. Can't drop in the breaking ball once more. Cooney, a rising junior, a native of Oregon as well. Just his 6th appearance of the season for the Braves. 2 for 15 to start the summer. Pops it up, first base side. Drifting into foul territory, comes back into play. Morales can't make the play, and it drops in. Goes to second, and he got the forced out. What a heads-up play by Morales on what will go down as the fielder's choice.
Yeah, when you think 4-6 fielder's choice, you don't usually think of what just happened. But, yeah, I mean, that's a heck of a throw from Morales, too, because he was in an awkward position after he picked it up. You could see him smiling after that. I mean, that you have to place it so perfectly, throwing it that hard.
I think he was just surprised by the sheer amount of spin on it,
Yeah.
where it started to drift to the right side of the foul line, then came back into play. But either way, Falmouth will take it to get the lead runner with 1 gone. The 8-hitter John LeGrand digs in.
If it's any consolation for Bourne, though, I think you'd rather maybe slightly have Cooney on base than Hughes, just a little bit better of a runner.
Thinking of good runners, John LeGrand has been phenomenal this season. 6 stolen bases already. Similar play style to Morales, where he gets on base, scrappy on the base pass, where he'll also snag a couple bases. Down 0-2 in the count. Originally from the Bronx, New York, and transferring to St. John's, where Queens, New York.
Yeah. St. John's team that had a good season in the Big East.
Check swing. Third base umpire and Anthony Bernetti says he did not go around. It'd be a little bit tough from that second base spot, Ben, where when there is a runner on first, the umpire is situated between first and second. So if there is a check swing, he's just about even with the hitter.
Yeah, it doesn't. Very rarely will you see him say he goes, I think, because how tough it is to see.
LeGrand on the ground, right side. Could be 2. Morales to second for 1. The turn from Lopez in time. Antonio Morales doing it all here in the top of the second, as it's the unconventional 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the second. Commodores 2, Braves 1. Just getting started here from Gov Fuller Field.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
What's up? I'm Ken Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Seen a good display of some solid offense in defense through 1.5, with Falmouth leading 2-1 over Bourne. Back alongside Ben Haller, I'm Andrew Del Piana here from Gov Fuller Field. Beautiful night, 76 degrees. Right side of the hill, packed up as always here at the Gov. Another great crowd on hand as 4th of July coming up a little bit later in the week.
And more importantly, no kids in play down the third base line this time. No dinosaurs out there either.
Did have some trouble on Sunday where the ball was picked up in play, but we won't discuss that. That's all right. Mark Quattrani to lead things off in the second. Alex Valentin back out there for Bourne. Roughed up a little bit in that first inning. 2 runs allowed off 3 hits.
28 pitches, too, we mentioned last half inning. Not a good sign.
Quattrani skies one into left center. Easy play for LeGrand. Calls off Hughes and reels it in for out number 1.
But again, if there's been any bugaboo for Falmouth in the last few games offensively, once you get to 7, 8, 9, there have been some struggles. Chris Newstrom and Kyle Morrison, 2 guys that have gotten on base a decent amount, but haven't been real extra base threats at all this year. We'll see if those 2 can pick it up. We know they have the ability to.
And you want both sides of the lineup kind of working hand in hand, if you will, so that bottom half then sets the tone for the top as well. One gone for Kyle Morrison. Good-looking slider from Valentin in there for a strike.
And that's why, again, at least Chris Newstrom on deck hitting ninth deserves more credit than I'm giving him right now, too. 3 walks in that last game before in front of Carl Schmidt, who had a great day at the top of the lineup. I mean, that stuff's important. It's a game, again, there weren't a lot of solo home runs. It was just so many guys on base for Falmouth. They out-hit Chatham 12-10.
And what felt like a slugfest in that one where Chatham had that 5 spot in the 4th. And then Commodores answer with back-to-back 4-run frames.
we've seen a lot of games this year that feel like those Friday games because you have two really good starters and they're low scoring. And talking about spring seasons, that was a game that felt like a Saturday or Sunday game where the bats came out to play.
Good take from Kyle Morrison. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Maybe I'll stick with Sunday game because there were 12 total pitchers, 6 on each side.
It was a whole lot. 16 combined runs between the Anglers and the Commodores. Morrison, the rising senior from Southern Mississippi, just transferred out of South Alabama. The guy he did face this season in Alex Valentin in the Sun Belt.
South Alabama got to him, too. 9 earned and 2 1/3.
Texas State finished 7th in the conference. Did make it into that conference tournament. Was bounced pretty early on. Morrison did not go around, and it's a 1-out walk.
Another really good plate appearance for Morrison. Sometimes it just takes a little bit to get going when, you know, you're just trying to put good at-bats together before you're making too hard a contact.
And here's the guy you were just talking about, Chris Newstrom, rising sophomore from Tennessee. Did see 3 walks back on Sunday. Said that was big for his confidence and his plate discipline. And it's something he's really tried to focus on into this summer as well. I mean, he did hit .351 in 33 games with the Volunteers this season. But is settling a little bit more. The numbers don't tell this whole story, as you said, 3 for 24 so far.
And he's someone that, you know, there's some guys that just don't figure it out with the wood bats, but I have confidence Newstrom will too. Just because of, again, those numbers he showed at Tennessee a season ago and playing at an SEC conference. It's a Tennessee team, too, that plays some tough midweek opponents. I mean, you're getting starts in midweeks. That's not, you know, it's not a bad thing at all.
Two balls, 1 strike to Morrison. Commodores lead 2-1 in the bottom of the second. 1 out with a runner on first. First walk allowed by Alex Valentin. We touched on that last inning where walks were a huge problem for him this season. And just 1 outing where he didn't issue one in 16 appearances. Newsom going to ask for a new bat here.
I think he's saying it's chipped at the top.
Good old check from Jared Saltamacchia where he just taps it on his head, says, that's all right, get back in there.
Maybe just getting some luck from Jared Saltamacchia of the World Series.
That's all you need sometimes. Call that the magic touch.
Of course.
Newstrom back in with a 2-2 count. Valentin shakes up 4 times before nodding. He's got the one he likes with the 2-2. Did Newstrom go around? Yes, he did. So all those shakeoffs, they worked out.
Yeah.
Second strikeout for Valentin.
The pitcher knows what he wants, and Valentin making sure to be careful with this 9-hitter when you look at what Schmidt and Morales have done at the top of the lineup last couple of games.
It is back.
8-hitter as well.
It is back to that top of the lineup as we take a look at some Cape storylines. Second ups for Carl Schmidt. He scored the first run of the game for Falmouth. Morrison still the runner on first now with 2 gone. Schmidt led off this game with a single and eventually came around to score thanks to Adrian Lopez driving him in.
And again, it was just a punch the other way. Schmidt, the ability to hit all fields. It's been impressive just through 14 games this year already. Seen it a lot.
He's someone who started really cool to begin the season, then found his form just a little bit more. Was in the top 10 for average for a couple of games last week and has dipped to 263. after a couple of over efforts in the last couple of nights.
But again, another guy kind of completes it with Newstrom. He was 0 for 3 on Sunday night, but still had a couple of walks.
Stays alive off the end of the bat. And it's jumped around to what it feels like, Ben, is every single spot in the lineup.
Yeah.
He's now been at 1 the last couple of games, was in the 5 spot, 6 spot, 7 spot, you name it.
Started the season leading off, then like 2 games later was in the 9 hole.
Valentin's 1-2. Breaking ball, just missed.
That was a pretty looking pitch. I guess it was just outside, but you're not always going to get that call if you're Schmidt. That's just such a tough pitch to do anything with.
79 miles per hour on the curveball. Another good take from Schmidt. It's below the knees. Count has rolled full 3-2.
Yeah, Valentin's just dancing around the zone right now. At some point, he's going to catch a piece.
Morrison will be off on the pitch. Here it is. It's a take from Schmidt, and it's ball 4. He's walked 2 runners in this inning to keep it going.
And a big spot for Morales, too. So, I like him hitting second in the lineup. He'll have a few more of those opportunities with runners on base than he did in the leadoff spot.
Does only have 2 RBIs. And as you said, again, being in that leadoff spot, you don't get too many chances to drive in runs with, 7, 8, 9 aren't supposed to usually get on base most of the time. But there's 2 runners on the base pass for him. Again, we keep going back to that command of Valentin being the big thing about him. He was stellar last time out with the 5 scoreless innings. Just had 3 walks against Orleans.
You could tell he's not missing horribly either. It's just one of those things where you lose the zone for a couple of pitches. It's tough to get it back sometimes. But you get 37 walks and 67 and 2/3 innings pitched. One of the biggest stats that shows it too, the 6.12 ERA, while opponents just hitting .230 against him. He did not get hit very hard in the Sun Belt last year.
And this will turn into a meeting with the rest of the infield. Pitching coach Kevin Curtin on for a word with him. 4th year with the Bourne Braves for Curtin. And give a lot of credit to Falmouth, Ben. They've done a good job of staying patient up there and making Valentin be a little bit more frustrated and have to work for these outs.
Well, those are the things that Falmouth's done better as the season's gone on so far, is longer at-bats. I mean, you remember, it wasn't just Falmouth, but it was also Chatham. The first game those 2 teams played on opening day, the game flew by, and it's because every at-bat, I mean, it was 1-0 game, obviously, and every at-bat felt like it was 2 or 3 pitches. Didn't see a whole lot of walks in that game, and really didn't see a whole lot of hits.
33 strikeouts, though.
Yeah.
That was our first impression of Cape Cod baseball, and, we sat next to each other and said, 2-hour game? Sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of those for Falmouth, too. And pitch clock's obviously done a very good job. Less offense with the wooden bats is nice, too.
Valentin looking to settle back in, and comes back to back-to-back strikes. Morales.
It's just so different from the college game, too. I mean, you saw how high-scoring some of those College World Series games were, especially some of the games Louisville was involved in and Oregon State.
Deuce is wild, 2-2 count, 2 outs, 2 runners on to number 2. Here it is. Just out on the slider.
Again, Valentin frustrated. You could tell he's frustrated with a couple of these calls. There were 2 to the last batter in Carl Schmidt that he thought were strikes. Just misses one to Morales here.
Another payoff pitch. Fouled off the home plate. Morales stays alive.
And even if you do get out of this inning unscathed, if you're Valentin, you have thrown 53, pitch number 53
Wow.
coming up in the first 2 innings.
It's a whole lot.
I mean, this might be it for him. It's hard to see the Bourne bullpen because it's blocked by the fence.
Inside nearly hits Morales. 3 runners in this inning for the Commodores, all 3 on via the walk, and they've loaded them up for Adrian Lopez.
And it just hurts, too, because you start the game, or you start the inning 7, 8, 9, and you get an easy fly out of Quattrani. Once you walk that one batter, it just kind of went south. There is no one in the Bourne bullpen currently.
Lopez already does have the RBI single to tie this ball game up. Can really add to this Falmouth lead here. Had 47 RBIs this spring with USC. Goes after the first one on the ground. Under the glove of Cooney. 1 run comes in. Here comes Schmidt right behind him. 2 more on the board for Falmouth. 4-1 Commodores in the bottom of the second.
I mean, there is nothing more frustrating if you're Valentin and you struggle with command. You finally put one on the zone, keep it on the ground, get out of the inning unscathed, and then everybody makes mistakes. That's ruled an error from Cooney at third. When it rains, it pours for Bourne, and this just has not been a good week for him. Falmouth doesn't have a whole lot of unearned runs.
No, they do
this
not.
year too.
That ball just slid under the glove of Cooney. And the Commodores cash in after the error. Mike Anu looking to add a little salt to the wound. Skies it towards right field, shallow depth for Aloy, and he reins it in for out number 3. But more damage done for the Commodores thanks to the error over at third by Ryan Cooney. 2 more runs coming to score for Falmouth. Schmidt right there, making it a 4-1 game as we go to the third here from the Gov.
To dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else. Dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts. Milton Rents, your local source.
My name's Jack Berg. I'm a left-handed pitcher currently in the transfer portal. You're watching Commodores baseball on Cape League TV.
Time up for the Falmouth Commodores Youth Development Clinics. Live a day in the life of a Commodore and train with top college players here, right here at Gov Fuller Field. Register today on our website at capecodleague.com/Falmouth. Well, the Doors taking full advantage of a couple of miscues last inning by the Braves to have this 4-1 lead in the top of the third. Easton Barrett still out there for the Doors for inning number 3 on the job, alongside Ben Haller. I'm Andrew Del Piano. Thanks so much for joining us on Cape League TV. Got to give the Commodores credit, really cashing in on those miscues, Ben.
Yeah, it's a team that's just been so patient, I think is the one word to describe this offense, not only today but the last few games. Easton Barrett's getting a lot of help. I mean, it's tough. You give up a solo shot of the first pitch of the game. It's so easy for things to go south. You know how you keep that from going south? You look up and you see that you've got a 3-run lead even after it.
Night hitter Jimmy Keenan leads it off for Bourne. The only at-bat in this ballgame we have not seen. Rising senior from Wake Forest, a transfer out of St. John's. 8 games played, 4 for 23 this season. You've harped on those strikeouts for Bourne. Keenan's got 16 of them. For Bourne's total this season at 139. By far the most on the Cape. Hard cut and a miss at the changeup.
Yeah, Bourne's in a similar situation to Falmouth in terms of just not having a ton of guys on the roster. Only 11 active hitters on the Braves roster right now.
Well, some important pieces with Team USA right now, including Noah Franco, who was a freshman All-American.
Yeah.
That list just came out today. Was a two-way guy for TCU. Two and two.
The only way to let this kind of thing spiral, it starts when you just give up walks and give up base runners. If you're Barrett right now, you just got to attack the zone. 3-run lead, you might leave one over, but again, we've seen solo home runs don't win games necessarily.
Great looking pitch from Barrett. Sits down Keenan for strikeout number one for number one.
That's his 17th strikeout in a young season for Keenan, too. Frustration for him. Just beautiful curveball.
Only came in at 75 miles per hour. Keenan was completely full.
When Barrett can pump mid-90s and then he's got one that wouldn't get pulled over for speeding on a highway.
Playing a deep left for Lopez. And Ryder Wake has only seen 2 pitches in this game. One was a solo home run and a pop out to shallow left. Two gone for Gavin Kelly. Commodores 4, Braves 1 in the top of the third. Kelly, the rising sophomore from West Virginia, but a native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
You and Ryan, I remember you guys talked about that on the broadcast, how it feels kind of traitor-ish.
It's an interesting
to
dynamic.
go from Pittsburgh to West Virginia. Those two schools very close, backyard brawl.
I'd say one of the more underrated rivalries in college football. Schmidt into foul territory, and he makes the play. 1, 2, 3 in the third for Easton Barrett. He'll look to get some more run support from his offense. 4-1 Commodores as we go to the final frame of the first third of the ball game.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
I'm Ben Royo, shortstop from Texas A&M, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the third from Gov Fuller Field. Commodores in front of the Braves 4-1. Back alongside Ben Haller. I'm Andrew Del Piana. Maybe a little bit of surprise to still see Alex Valentin on the mound.
Yeah.
58 pitches so far through 2 innings.
Still, I mean, there's not much going on in the Bourne bullpen to this point either.
5, 6, 7 in the bottom of the third, starting with Kent Schmidt, who did have an RBI ground out back in the first. The two spot.
He's got 4 RBIs the last 3 games, too. I mean, still 7 innings left to play.
Fooled on that breaking ball. Quickly 0-2. Falmouth's offense has been getting runs up and early in this one. A 2 spot in the first, 2 spot in the second as well. Big help thanks to that E5 by Cooney last inning with the bases loaded. Schmidt, a .243 hitter entering today. Did lead the ACC in the spring with a .397 average. Alex Valentin has gotten a lot of 2-strike counts, Ben, but really has just not put these hitters away.
Yeah, and again, it's been a tighter zone. You can tell there's been a lot of frustration from Valentin, but I think that's just a mental thing that can mess with his head a little bit.
And it hits Schmidt. Leadoff runner on for Falmouth. So it's been 3 walks for Valentin, and now the hit by pitch.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like Valentin's in the best mind frame right now, which is such a tough thing to do when Tim gets to you early and then you get a couple of runs in when there's an error from your third baseman.
Second time the leadoff has been on for Falmouth. Bear Harrison digs in, goes after the first one, and pops it into left field. It's down for a base hit. Schmidt all the way up to third base. And the offense continues to chug for Falmouth. Runners at the corners with nobody gone.
It feels just so confident with the top 6 of this Falmouth lineup that they put out today. Bear Harrison really completes it. And he's someone that, obviously the contact number's not quite there yet on this summer, but he has showcased a lot of power. And he shortened up his swing a little bit in the last couple of games. It's always tough, too. You're in a catcher room with the 3-man rotation. You're not getting starts every day.
And that catcher rotation does include the guy at the plate in Mark Quattrani. A recent commit to Notre Dame just a couple of days ago after 2 seasons with the Cornell Big Red. This story is an interesting one, going to the Fighting Irish. When he was thinking about going in the portal, his advisor gave him, or should say, told him to put down 30 schools he was interested in. Notre Dame was not on that list. Carson Tinney, who is an All-American this year for Notre Dame, he transfers to Texas as a catcher, and he eventually finds a home. A tough hopper gets over Waitshead into left field. That's an RBI for Quattrani. Harrison up to third. 5-1 Commodores. Everything going right for Falmouth right now.
And when it rains, it pours, and that is so tough for Valentin, for Wade. I mean, there's quite literally nothing you can do on that play. It just took a horrible bounce at the beginning of the infield grass. I mean, yeah, shortstop, there's nothing you can do. And again, Valentin, you can see throwing up his hands a little bit like what in the world. It's going to go as a single and an RBI for Mark Quattrani, his third in 2 games.
That feels like the only spot in the infield where it would take that kind of bounce.
Yeah.
Maybe other than the lip. Either way, Falmouth will take it. This offense is having a whole lot of fun as of late.
Doors flipped the script, though, down 5-1. In each of their first 2 games before this one, one in one of those 2 games coming back against Chatham. Now they're up 5-1. It's early, too. I mean, this offense, not even fully 2 times through, has done a ton. 5 base hits as well.
0-2 to Kyle Morrison. Rolls over, fouled on the first base side. He was one of the 3 walks so far given up by Valentin. His numbers also do not jump off the screen. Just 2 RBIs so far through 9 games. That includes just 4 hits as well.
But another guy who's walked a decent amount.
His last hit came last Tuesday against Hyannis. 1-2. Up the middle, drops in for another hit. Third RBI of the season for Kyle Morrison. Harrison comes in to score. Another two-spot in this frame for Falmouth. It is 6-1 Commodores.
And this is it, incredibly hard contact after hard contact. But again, just credit the Commodores for putting together really good at-bats and not striking out. Good things happen. This time another one pulled a little bit by Morrison. It's another up-the-middle approach. And it just blooped in over the head of Kelly.
Looks like that'll be the last pitch thrown by Alex Valentin. As Scott Landers is out there and does take the ball from the lefty. Not the outing that he was looking for or at all similar to what happened last time out on Tuesday. New Bourne pitcher coming up. We'll tell you who it is. All Commodores in the early going, 6-1.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
All Falmouth so far, 6-1 Commodores, as we are still in the bottom of the third. As we take a look at that last base hit from Kyle Morrison. We'll have that shortly. There it is, where he just gets a good pitch to hit and then sends it right back where it came from. The new pitcher out there for Bourne is the rising redshirt senior from Coastal Carolina, Matt Potok, the recent addition to the Braves pitching staff. Put up some phenomenal numbers this year for the Chanticleers. 21 appearances, a sub-3 ERA, large part why they did go to the final of the College World Series. And just a couple of days, or not so much a couple of days, I'd say about a half a month away from the end of that ball game. Yeah, he's back in action here at the Cape.
The thing that's most impressive about Potok in his career so far, too, is able to bounce back after an injury. He redshirted that 24 season due to an arm injury. Able to come back after it and have his best year yet. He had an awesome freshman year, sub-4 ERA and 17 appearances. But as a lot of people do when they get moved into a bigger role in their sophomore season, he got hit pretty hard in 2023 before he went down with injury.
Coastal Carolina, of course, losing to LSU in a best-of-3 in the College World Series final for Tigers' 8th national championship. That would have been the Chants' 2nd, their last one coming in 2016. First to meet him is Chris Newstrom. Strikeout victim his first time up. 6 hits so far for Falmouth, 6 runs. Newstrom lightly hit down the third base line and foul. This game inching maybe closer to getting away from Bourne. Another game that's already got out of hand. How about 3-9 Katuitt leading 8-0 over 10-2 YD. The Red Sox currently on a 9-game win streak and the worst record-wise team in the league. About to take them down. How about that?
If you're a Falmouth fan, it's a good time for YD to cool down, too. We'll see you tomorrow night.
0-2 to Newstrom. Stays alive.
That's one of the more frustrating losses, I think, on the year against YD, where a game where it felt like Falmouth had it. Had a lot of chances offensively, just couldn't put any big inning together.
And there's been a couple of games the Red Sox have been close to losing that win streak. Then their pitching has been phenomenal. By far the best ERA in the league. Another 0-2 to Newstrom. Sends it up the middle. Wait. steps on second, fires over to first, takes it himself on the double play.
That's a big double play. I mean, again, sometimes when you're a new pitcher into a game, it just takes that one out to get you settled in a little bit. With runners on base too, you get the run over to third, but not with less than 2 outs.
So Matt Potok forces the double play to get 2 gone. Petrani does advance up to third, though. Already the third at bat for Carl Schmidt in inning number 3. 1 for 1 with a single and a walk.
It's nice, too, that Falmouth's starting to put together some pretty good games at home. It's been a weird struggle at home.
Schmidt ropes it into left. It's hauled in by Hughes. We'll talk about that offensive standout in the next half inning. It is 6-1 Falmouth as we are through 1/3 of the ball game. We'll be right back on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
It is the top of the 4th. You know what that means. It's now time for some Doors trivia. Here is tonight's question. Mike Anu leads the Cape League with 4 home runs already this summer. Who was the last Door to lead the league in home run by the end of the season? Was it A, Travis Baizana, B, Alec Boehm, C, Ryan Hopkins, or D, Colby Holter? You can play along at home by tweeting your answer and including the hashtag Doors trivia. Stay tuned for the answer in the bottom of the inning. Got a guess?
It always feels it's always going to be a middle one. So I don't know if it's the most recent option in Baizana. I feel like Hopkins is one of the.
That was going to be my
options.
guess.
So I'll go Reese Hopkins.
Okay. I don't want to tag along with you and play, but I'll go with Baizana. He was the number 1 overall pick. Why not? Easton Barrett still looking to limit this Bourne offense with just 2 hits allowed so far with the 1 run allowed. That coming off the leadoff home run by Riker Waite. Wave and a miss. Aloy a ground out to third base his first time up.
Again, this Bourne team has struggled, but they have ability to put together pretty big innings. They've done it a couple times this year. This isn't a game that's 100% over yet.
And Bourne does not want to drop its 5th straight to go to 4-9-1 on this young season. Already 8 points back of Hyannis for the top spot in the West Division. Falmouth just 2.5 games back.
It's a Falmouth team, too. It's just an interesting note. Looking at the schedule, looking at the standings. 6-7 on the year. They're 5-1 against teams that are 500 or worse. 1-6 against teams that are 500 or better. It feels like there just haven't been a whole lot of upsets per se this season for Falmouth.
Wouldn't really think of this one as an upset tonight either as well. Just based off the way the Braves have been struggling. Aloy does not go around on the check swing, and it's a leadoff walk for the rising junior from Arkansas. Leadoff man on for Bourne. Looking to spark a little bit of a comeback, down by 5.
Got to get base runners to do it. Again, Barrett's got even that bigger lead now. Still, the most important thing is just attacking the zone.
Cade Lewis with a ground out to Adrian Lopez over at short. Back in that first frame. Check over at first. Aloy, definitely a speedster, was first team all SEC alongside his brother. First siblings to ever do that in the history of the conference.
They did a little bit more than speed, too.
I would say so.
Had a lot of home runs.
Big wave and a miss from Lewis.
And I just the one number that jumps off the page at you for, Cahillo, obviously a very good season for his brother, but 70 RBIs for Arkansas this last season.
Lewis on the curveball, punches it in over the head of Lopez, goes to that same spot, but different result. Had just enough arc on it to get over Lopez's head. Back-to-back runners on to start the 4th for the Braves.
Yeah, Cade Lewis is a good ball player. He just does it at all levels. We talked about him making the jump, having a very good year his freshman year in the Big East, having a good year in the ACC. Now having a good summer on the Cape, at least in the first 14 games.
And a great effort by Lopez. He is a pretty tall guy, Ben.
About as tall as a shortstop as you're going to see.
He's 6'4", and he got up there. Nobody gone. Runners at first and second for Braden Holcomb. He squares to bunt, cannot drop it down. Sub 200 average for the Vanderbilt Commodore. Was ranked as the number 28 sophomore entering this season by perfect game.
And that freshman year was impressive, too. We didn't really start to begin the year, but about the middle of the season, he really caught his groove. And Tim Corbett said he was the best freshman hitter on that team. That was a very good Vanderbilt team a couple years ago.
He had a 466-foot home run against LSU. Now 0-2. So far for Barrett, 44 pitches, 27 of them have been strikes. Has issued 2 walks, one of them coming in this inning. This is 0-2. Tries to get Holcomb chasing. Aloy at second, Lewis at first. Barrett looking to get him to roll over on one. Swing and a miss. That'll do the trick just fine. A swinging strikeout for Holcomb's 16th K of the summer for route number 1.
We haven't seen the strikeout stuff from Barrett a ton. We talked about how good his arsenal is, but that's just his second strikeout of the day. So he pitched it to contact, and I think it's his ability. I mean, he'll be the first one to tell you probably hasn't had his best stuff today, but still so impressive to see him be able to work around a lot of these batters and work around that solo home run to start things off.
Now he faces the most dangerous bat in the Bourne lineup in Logan Hughes. 44 on base percentage is 5th in the league, 7th in slugging. Bourne really needs him in a big spot early on in this ball game for them to really get back in it.
And then 918 OPS is one of the best, too, for him in the league.
Talk about that first team all-conference nod this past spring, where he did have 19 home runs. He was the only player in the league to have 40 conference hits, 30 runs scored, 30 RBIs, and 10-plus homers. Walked nicely in the dirt by Harrison. Hitters count for Hughes. Ryan Cooney waits on deck. Near is the 3-1. Hughes puts a jolt into this one. Right center field, drops in. That one is going to get all the way to the wall. One run comes in thanks to Aloy. The second right behind him, and Lewis going to be a play at the plate, not in time. A huge 2-run double for Logan Hughes. And the Bravos are right back in it. 6-3 Commodores in the top of the fourth.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why you get someone like Logan Hughes to hit further down to the lineup. You get guys on base in front of him. And just the lefty on lefty crime. Fastball up in the zone, and Logan Hughes not going to miss that.
That was your typical 3-1 fastball. Left to right where Hughes wanted it. And he made Barrett pay. Quick meeting on the mound. Pitching coach Todd Carroll out there to speak with his lefty. Kind of feels like an important part of the ball game, where the Commodores, again, as you said back in that last inning, this game fell away from Bourne just a little bit, but that offense can really strike at any time.
It can, and when you have, again, it's just a balanced lineup. Guys like Logan Hughes hitting sixth, and John LeGrand, I mean, he's another guy who's hasn't really broken out completely at the plate power-wise, but still hitting 300 on the year coming into this game. That's your 8-hitter. It's a dangerous bottom, too.
The guy in front of him is Cooney, who did ground out, or I should say popped out into that weird fielder's choice to Morales last time up. And that ball started slicing away fouled on the first base side. Then curved back, Morales picked it up after missing the catch, and then threw out the runner at second and Hughes. Cooney's been described as one of those guys that is not on any watch lists. He's not the first guy you mention when you think of Oregon baseball, but he's a scrappy, scrappy guy, just like Morales, who he hits it to and makes the grab for out number 2.
A couple guys are replaying to the Big Ten next season, Maryland and Oregon, too, for Morales and Cooney.
2 gone in the top of the fourth. Already 2 across for the Braves, thanks to the 2-run double by Logan Hughes. Lefty on lefty with John LeGrand. Grounded into an inning-ending double play his last time around. Check over at second. Snap tag, Hughes back in without a dive.
It was closer than it needed to be. Hughes almost got caught. Might need to go for a dive next time.
LeGrand was a JUCO All-American at Wabash Valley College before transferring to St. John's. LeGrand ropes one on the ground, first base side, and it is through for a hit. Here comes Hughes. He scores. 3 unanswered for Bourne. Thanks to RBI number 7 on the season for John LeGrand, and it is a 2-run ball game just like that.
Again, so many parts of the lineup can hurt you, and John LeGrand just took a pitch low and kept it on the ground, just hit it hard enough. Through the right side. Again, just contact after contact LeGrand doesn't have a ton of RBIs this year, picked up number 7, which is a pretty solid number for someone hitting that far down in the lineup.
Take a look into the Falmouth bullpen. That's Connor Lynn warming up. 3 runs so far in this frame for the Bravos after entering trailing by 5. You said it earlier, Ben. This one was going to have a whole lot of runs, or it felt like it was, and it has lived up to it. Jimmy Keane, the 9-hitter for the Braves. Backward strikeout his first time.
I mean, you're running into a situation, too, where kind of similarly to what we saw at the start from Valentin for Bourne, Barrett's just throwing a lot of pitches now at this point, and that's why you might see him out of this game soon. Even though only second frame has given up runs, he's had some trouble on the base paths as well. He's thrown 58 pitches of his own now.
And this inning has got away from him a little bit. And danger was already on the pass when he allowed the first 2 to reach. LeGrand definitely a threat to steal over there at first. One of the faster guys in the Big Ten this season. Had 33 stolen bases. That was top 25 in the nation. There it's 2-1. LeGrand takes off. A swing and a miss. Throw down to second. Not in time.
Yeah, there's no chance on that, too. And
LeGrand a little bit gimpy getting up.
they're going to have the runner go back to first. Now, I'm not – well, I don't think –
Did Jimmy Keane get in the way of that throw?
The thing is, if he did, then the runner would be out. I think it's some sort of time. I think what the umpire is signaling is that he called time before the pitch, or there was some sort of time before the pitch. Because if it was hitter's interference,
that runner. 2-2 check swing did not go around. Either way, LeGrand does retreat back to first. Two outs. LeGrand is off on the pitch. Goes to the breaking ball. Called strike 3. 2 at-bats. 2 strikeouts for Jimmy Keane. But Bourne pushes 3 across in the top half of the 4th. We got ourselves a ball game once again. Falmouth 6, Bourne 4 as we go to the bottom of the 4th on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Cape Space, Cape Cod 5, Cisco Brewers, Cape Cod Healthcare, Hampton Inn, Franklin Sports, Highline Cruises, Jersey Mike's, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the 4th inning where the Commodores lead Bourne 6-4. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ryan Martin, the sideline reporter and third member of the crew today. Commodores and Braves after an off day yesterday, but it wasn't off day for two doors. Micah New and Caden Eschman, you see right there, played in the exhibition game at Citi Field. New goes 0 for 1 with a walk right there. But the real star was in the second inning. Caden Eschman, the University of Kentucky right-hander, strikes out the side, gets 3 consecutive batters in the Major League Baseball Draft League. Eschman was feeling it, came back into the dugout, and he could not get the smile off his face. Guys, that was a great performance, especially for the righty. And then you see Micah New right there. He'll bat third in this one after playing at the home of the New York Mets just yesterday. Andrew?
Yeah, 2 legit guys who have definitely earned their spot in the Cape Cod League pre-All-Star game, if you will, the first edition against the MLB Draft League, where that league's a little bit interesting, where they start out as a collegiate summer league, and then halfway through they move into professional ball, which I always thought was interesting after the draft.
Yeah, it's a fun idea. I like it a lot. And the score not always telling of, it's basically an all-star game. Everyone's getting 1 or 2 at-bats. Every pitcher's just getting an inning. But MLB Draft League put up a lot of runs in it.
That was a 10-9 victory for the MLB Draft League. So they will host Game 1 of the World Series. I'm just kidding. That was the pre-MLB All-Star Game rules.
Maybe they should could you see an MLB Draft League champion versus Cape League champion?
Not a bad idea. We'll throw it out there. Morales skies it out to left center field. Hughes on the run, and it's out of his reach. Up against the fence. Going to be extra bases for Morales. He'll kick some dirt on his way to second with the leadoff double.
Yeah, well, you could tell Falmouth starting to feel some sense of urgency. This game is obviously not over. Bourne trying to do what Falmouth did on last game on Sunday night. So as much pressure as Falmouth can keep putting on these Bourne pitchers.
And that ball really just kept carrying. Looked like it was going to be a routine ball for Hughes, but had enough launch angle on it to get into the gap. Just the second extra base hit so far this season for Morales in his first double. Here's Adrian Lopez. Matt Potok still out there for Bourne after coming in relief last inning after a really tough performance for the starter Alex Valentin after he allowed 4 earned runs in 2 innings. Potok allowed just the 1 hit last frame. Gets Lopez to fish in the dirt. Lopez already with an RBI in this one. And then had 2 runs come in after the E5 against Cooney back in the second inning. So he does not get credit for 2 RBIs.
Still, putting the ball in play, though, which has just been the story for Falmouth so far. Decently hard-hit ball, but still definitely a play Cooney should have made.
7 hits so far for Falmouth. 6 runs across. 2-2 to Lopez. Rising junior from the University of Southern California, who basically saved their season in the Big Ten tournament. Had a 2-run double in the ninth to walk it off. That beat Washington 6-5. And, Ben, if they don't win that game, it doesn't feel like the Trojans are in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's tough to say. It was a very I think people were surprised that USC was in that last 4 in and not safely in, because 2 weeks before the Big Ten tournament, it was looking like there was no question they were in the tournament. I don't think people realized how closely they were creeping with some struggles in the last couple of weeks, some of them against Washington, that Washington team in the regular season.
Lopez gets a breaking ball, rolls over. Waite makes the play and fires across for out number 1. Here's the guy, third member of our crew, Ryan Martin, was just talking about Mike Anu, who did have a plate appearance in that exhibition game against the MLB Draft League. Talked to him a little bit earlier. He said he was hitting some nukes in BP.
That's all that matters, right?
Oh, of course, you got to show off for the scouts.
Yeah.
Second major league ballpark he's hit batting practice in this season. Had that Fenway Day a little bit earlier in the season for the league-wide workout day. And Mike Anu's still looking for a new home as well. Currently in the portal after a season at Marshall. He's first in a whole lot of categories.
It's just right on cue. I was about to say, pound for pound's probably been the best hitter, not just on this Falmouth team, but in the Cape so far this year, which we just look at the talent. It kind of speaks for itself for how impressive that is.
First in home runs, first in slugging percentage, first in OPS, tied for first in RBIs.
To have those power numbers and already hit 4 bombs, still hitting 290 on the year.
Nothing to slouch at either. And the count 2-1. Nubs it off the end of the bat foul. Lopez still at second after that leadoff double. Lopez grounding out to the shortstop, Riker Waite. In the first 3 innings of this game, Falmouth has put a 2 spot on each frame so far, looking to keep that going. 3 unanswered so far for the Braves. New launches one deep to left field. Did he do it again? Yes, he did! Home run number 5 of the season for Mike Anu. He continues to put balls into orbit. 8-4 Falmouth in the bottom of the 4th.
It's hard to put into words just what Mike Anu's doing for Falmouth right now. It's just not cooling off. Another pitch, he's done it on so many different pitches too. This time just an inside pitch just turned on over the left field wall. He's done it on pitches up. He's done it on breaking balls. He's done it on fastballs. He's done it down in games. He's done it up in games to give some insurance. That's what he does there.
4 straight frames where Falmouth has scored 2 runs. Schmidt looking to add to that. Tags it out to left. Hughes back a couple steps and hauls it in. How about another look at that beautiful swing, Ben?
It's just so simple. And a pitch up, a late adjustment for him, too, to bring the hips up and bring the hands up.
And when we talked to him a little bit earlier before the season, he did hit 19 home runs for Marshall this past year. He said he's a guy that doesn't really hit for power, which I don't really believe.
It seems like all the power hitters say that. They like to talk about how, they're not trying to hit home runs up there.
Dugan for Bear Harrison, who is 1 for 2 with a single his last time around. 8 runs on 8 hits for Falmouth. Harrison lightly hit up the middle. Kelly vacuums it up, and that does it for inning number 4. Commodores tack on 2 more thanks to Mike Anu's 2-run home run, his 5th of the summer. That is first in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Commodores 8, Braves 4, as we are through 4.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, a proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on KTV.
Top of the 5th, some Doors trivia. Wow, that graphic needs to be updated because Mike Anu's got 5 home runs this summer. The last door to lead the league in home run by the end of the season. Colby Halter in 2022. So neither of us were right on that one.
I told myself to do something in the middle, not the most recent option, not the oldest option, and I went with the oldest option. I need to read better next time.
Connor Lynn, the lefty, takes the ball. First arm out of the bullpen for Jared Saltomakia. After 4 innings on the job for Easton Barrett. Take a look at Connor Lynn's numbers. Currently in the transfer portal after a season with Northern Kentucky. Just north of a 5 ERA in 8 2/3 innings pitch. Those walk to strikeout numbers are good though, Ben. 4-14.
It's just the one appearance for Connor Lynn that really got away from him recently. Came back at home against Hyannis. But still's got that really good appearance against Chatham.
He works 3 pitches in, fastball half the time, as well as a breaking ball and a changeup. Does work in that 2-seam fastball. He said that changeup used to be good. It's faded a little bit more after the last couple of years. He was honest with us about it.
I think pitchers are oftentimes most honest, brutally honest about themselves when evaluating those kinds of things.
Top of the lineup for Bourne. Riker Waite tries to square one up and pulls back.
He's got that fastball that can get up to 91 on the gun on that first pitch to him.
Spent 3 seasons at Cincinnati before going to the Norse. Definitely one of the cooler team names, I'd say, in all of college sports.
Absolutely. Well, Kentucky and Highland Heights, Kentucky. I don't even know if he had to move to go from University of Cincinnati to NKU. His campuses within about a 10-minute drive of each other.
Closer than Xavier in Cincinnati?
No, so Xavier and Cincinnati are closer. It's about just under 3 miles is the Xavier-Cincinnati distance. NKU, though, they kind of make a good triangle.
See, I've been working on my Ohio geography.
Really? You haven't told me about that.
I do it in private to impress you.
Professor.
Yeah.
Okay. You did surprise me with the Jake Hanley hit for Chatham the other day.
Just a couple of Mason Comets linking up here on Cape Cod.
There it is, Ohio geography again.
Riker Waite did have that home run on the first pitch of the ball game, but did pop out last time up and is sat down on the called strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Bourne in this ball game. 3 have been backwards.
Yeah, it's been a consistent zone, too. A lot of times when you see that, you think it's inconsistent zones, but this has been one of the more consistent zones I think we've seen. And Riker Waite just thought that one was up.
Leadoff man retired. As here's Gavin Kelly, the second baseman. Goes after the first one, ropes it right into the Bourne dugout.
Watch out.
Looks like everyone is okay in there.
A couple guys sitting on the bench downstairs in that dugout, too. Those are the ones who are unsuspecting.
For Gavin Kelly, a really impressive freshman season, all freshman team in the Big 12. First Mountaineer to do that since 2022. He was very highly touted out of high school, the 7th overall player in the state of Pennsylvania. Talked about West Virginia, Pittsburgh a little bit earlier in that long-standing rivalry. As the hitters count at 3-1 against Connor Lynn. On the ground, on the forehand by Lopez. One hopper, way offline. Schmidt has to come off the bag to make the play. Going to be an infield single for Gavin Kelly. He's now got his second base hit of the game.
It's a wide range for Adrian Lopez, but throw he'll tell you he probably should make. Just as we were talking about how solid the defense has been.
Just some blazing speed down the first base line for Gavin Kelly. Kohio Aloy digs in. 0 for 1 with a walk back in the fourth. Digs a first pitch strike. Had one of the cooler moments, I'd say, in Arkansas this season where his youth baseball program made the trip out to Fayetteville for a regional weekend. Him and his brother got to reignite with the program that he spent a couple of years with growing up in Hawaii. That it really felt like a full circle moment for him and his brother.
It's a fun time. I mean, Arkansas did not run into much trouble before they got to the College World Series in their tournament run.
Had a heartbreaking finish in that elimination game.
Yeah, the way that played out.
Feels like it's a program that's always been right there, but just cannot get over the hump. Still looking for that first national championship. They do have 2 runner-ups. Didn't get to the championship series this year.
And Vahiva Aloy has obviously been, in a lot of ways, the best player in the country, making a mistake like that on a throw to third base that he wanted back.
And even a guy like Camden Kojal was here with Bourne last year. Strikeout for out number 2. Can't get the throw him out part, as it is a stolen base for Gavin Kelly. Finished that point about Kojal. Was also here with Bourne last year. Transferred over from Vanderbilt. Was another stellar season for him. Or he got to go back home to Omaha. He was the Nebraska Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year. Dugan with a runner on second for Cade Lewis. Check swing. He did go around, says home plate umpire Marvick Gomez. He's 1 for 2 with a single in the fourth.
It'll be interesting to see how Kohio Aloy kind of settles in. And talk about everyone adjusting to those wooden bats. He's got 2 more recently.
Harrison calls everyone off in fair territory and hauls it in for out number 3. So after the 1-out single and the stolen base, no runs across for Carter Lynn in his first inning of work as we are through 4.5 here from Gulf Fuller Field. Ben Haller will have you the rest of the way with the Commodores leading 8-4 right here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Enjoy all the action of the Cape Cod Baseball League by downloading the Cape League TV app on your mobile device and your favorite TV streaming platform. You can now watch the doors on your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TVs. Cape League TV provides live and on-demand coverage of all games and featured content from the nation's best summer collegiate baseball league. Get to the game with Cape League TV. Hello from our crew to you guys watching at home, where the Falmouth Commodores are in the driver's seat, a 4-run lead as we're about halfway home here from Gov Fuller Field, looking for their second win in 2 against the Bourne Braves. It has been 4 straight 2 spots in the first 4 innings for Falmouth. Consistent offense. They've done it in different ways. A 2-run home run back in that 4th inning. A couple RBI singles the inning before that, but it's the bottom third and Mark Quattrani leading things off for the second inning against Matt Potok, and Quattrani swinging through the first pitch.
And I think that, too, is the most important aspect of the game so far. Is it hasn't been just the long ball. It hasn't just been station to station. They're doing it in a whole lot of variety of ways to get these runs across.
Awkward swing on the 0-1. He definitely went around there. He was 1 for 2 today. Got an RBI single back in the third inning. He was given a little gift with the bounce off the lip of the infield that jumped over the head of Waite at shortstop. And he's down on 3 pitches here. Potok's got his first strikeout of the game.
I think we've got to check if that is a sprinkler head right there. That's the only thing I could have think of why it took that ricochet.
You see those hops all the time, maybe on bases, once the ball's hit bases and take awkward jumps.
Never on the grass of the infield.
No, it was grass. And this is a well-maintained field.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they do a very good job with it. 1 down, nobody on for the 8-hitter Kyle Morrison. First pitch sends one to the Falmouth dugout. He has reached twice with a walk and an RBI single, and you can only hope it helps him maybe break out a little bit, be more consistent down the stretch for Commodores. Feels like that playing time split. He starts about 2 of every 3 games for Falmouth. Slow grounder, and Kelly's got it for out number 2. This is the quickest the first 2 hitters Falmouth has gone down in this game, and the first time the first 2 have been retired in order. Falmouth has put the leadoff runner on in 3 of the first 4 innings, make that 3 of 5 now.
And that's really where it has to start for Bourne. I mean, we've seen the displays of offense all throughout the ballgame, but the one thing that's been inconsistent is this pitching staff.
Chris Newstrom watches the first one go by. Change up at the top part of the zone. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and double play is the only Falmouth Commodore to not reach base today. It's after reaching 3 times in Falmouth's most recent game. Another chopper. Gavin Kelly's got another play, this time a little more difficult, but this time just a flip for out number 3. A very quick 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th for Potok. He's starting to settle in. He's completed 3. We head to the 6th on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly options. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Second inning of the 4th time we've seen Connor Lynn this summer. Ken Schmidt, the Falmouth offense, in control with 8 runs through the first 5 innings of this ball game. They got 12 outs to go before picking up win number 7, getting to 500 for the first time since Friday of the first week of the year. They were 3-3 after completing their second win over Orleans that came at Gov Fuller Field and was immediately followed by a 3-game losing streak. Ever since then, they've been playing better baseball, 3 of the last 4, and the offense has been much better. An offense that's improving to go with a pitching staff that's getting a lot of help. A lot of recent additions. Easton Barrett, who started today for Falmouth, is one of those. One who's been with them since the very beginning is the Northern Kentucky Norseman, Connor Lynn.
And the big thing, too, that hitting coach Jack O'Reilly said about Game 3, Game 4 of the season, I asked him, how long does it take for these guys to get used to the wooden bats? And he flat out said 2 weeks. Like, there's going to be a lot of struggles in the first couple of games of this team finding offense, and that turned out to be pretty true.
That is very true. That was a statement he made before the first couple
It
of
was
weeks?
Orleans, so game 4, I believe.
So that wasn't, I was going to say maybe a hindsight 2020 thing, but
Yeah,
if you said that early, that's a good prediction. Of course, he knows what he's talking about. Braden Holcomb, foul tip the first pitch behind home plate. He's 0 for 2 today with a lineout and a strikeout. Junior from Orlando, Florida, came a long way, a decently long way to go to Nashville to play his college baseball. And he's had some pretty big games with Vanderbilt. Walk-off homer against a very good Kentucky team 2 years ago in his sophomore year. Actually, this past season, his sophomore year. Against Bama, he had 3 extra base hits in the last 3 innings to take a comeback win. A triple in the 6th, a home run in the 8th, and then a walk-off home run in the 9th inning. He had a 4-for-4 day with a home run against the top 10 Georgia team as well. Hitting .275 for the Commodores. That one grounded slowly through the left side, past the third baseman, and then Adrian Lopez can't come with it either. Hits it through Newstrom and Lopez. The leadoff man is on with the single. Here in the 6th.
Just a perfectly placed ball in the infield where Newstrom has to go to his left, Lopez has to go deep in the hole to his right. And that makes a really tough play for either infielder.
Leadoff man aboard for just the 2nd time today. Actually, check that 3rd time. If you look at both teams, they've each put the leadoff runner on 3 times, but Falmouth just done a better job capitalizing on it. Bourne still forward 4 runs to this point. First pitch at the knees now to Logan Hughes. Couple of power conference guys who got a lot of playing time in the middle of this Bourne lineup. Hughes, of course, the junior from DeLand, Florida, had an 11.08 OPS for Texas Tech this past season. He's the team leader in home runs and RBI. First team All Big 12 member. Quickly down 0-2 with this count. Always played his baseball in the South, but started closer to home, about as close as home as you can get. That's Stetson. He's from DeLand, where Stetson is. He played his freshman year there. Now he waves his bat at the 0-2 pitch. Easy play for Morrison in left.
And he was also phenomenal that freshman year with Stetson. He was the part of the freshman All-ASUN team. And then he got even better as the league got a little bit better in the Big 12.
Yeah. Very rare to see those numbers jump from league to league like that. Now, Lynn trying to settle in after getting the first out, keeping the runner put at first base at a check swing, strike 1 to Ryan Cooney.
Remember, we call that the sophomore jump, not the sophomore slump.
We've had a couple of sophomore jumps we talked about on this broadcast. It always feels like it goes one way or the other, and very rarely do you have a similar sophomore year to your freshman year. Grounder foul. And again, Lynn quickly up at the count 0-2. He's completed an inning in the 3rd and only thrown 25 pitches. After you can tell Easton Barrett worked that pitch count up. He completed 4. But in those 4 innings, he threw 61 pitches, giving up 4, all of them earned on 5 base hits. Did have 3 strikeouts. Connor Lynn's got 2 of his own. 0-2 pitch, runs inside.
Lynn's someone very far away from sophomore year. He'll
Yeah.
turn 24 years old at the end of the calendar year.
Spent all of his time in college in either Southern Ohio or Northern Kentucky. Change up on the ground. Could be 2. Awkward hop in front of short again. And they're going to turn the double play. Adrian Lopez waited on it, and he turns another double play. He's been stellar defensively. And that's gets Connor Lynn to face the minimum. 6-4-3 to end it. We saw a base hit on that awkward hop. Commodore is able to handle it as we head to the bottom of.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on KTV.
First-year manager Jared Saltalamaki is close to getting his team back up to 500 for the first time since they were 3-3. Brought a whole new coaching staff with them. Some came over for board with them. The third member of our crew, Ryan Martin, has more on one of the assistants.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ben. We talk so much about Saltalamacchia going up against Bourne, who he's with for 3 years. You see right there on the left side of your screen, that's Quinn Schomburg, the first base coach for the Commodores, because last year, Ben, he was the first base coach for Bourne. It was part of that Bravos team. Says he had a lot of great memories. We asked him pregame as well about what it was like to work under Bourne field manager Scott Landers, who's a two-time Cape League champion. He said he really admires his style of coaching, Ben. Says he hopes to coach his team just like Landers coaches the Braves one day.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Landers was a word, and more than a few words, for Marvin Gomez, the home plate umpire. So we switch from the top of the sixth to the bottom of the sixth. He's been upset about the strike zone all game long. Quinn Stromberg used to work under Landers.
He's giving him a little taste of his own medicine right now with how good the offense has been.
Right. It's a Bourne team that always feels like they're playing their best baseball at the end of the year going into the playoffs. It's exactly what they did last year. Ended up losing in the Cape Cod League Championship to Harwich.
Well, it's funny, Ben. They started out 4-8-1 after June last year, and they made the championship. There's been no other team to come out of the West Division and represent this division other than the Braves in the 2020s.
Yeah. Top of the lineup's been awesome today for Falmouth. Carl Schmidt, one of them has reached twice on a single and a walk. The first two batters in this lineup have reached a combined 5 times. We're just in the bottom of the sixth, and it's a Falmouth 4-run lead. Fastball up after a changeup out, so 2-0 count. Now for the Cal Berkeley Bear. Most recently, though, Schmidt had a pretty hard line out into left field, one where he still made pretty good contact. Spoils a fastball outside. Could have talked about it last time, or the top of this inning with Braden Holcomb. Now, he's had some awesome games at Vanderbilt. Schmidt's had some great games at Cal as he watches a fastball that needs to even the count. Grand slam, but a 6 RBI game late in the year versus St. Mary's. He had a big 3-run home run in an ACC tournament game against Wake Forest where Cal was fighting for an auto bid. Chases the 2-2 and he's down on strikes.
It wasn't a phenomenal year for Cal in their first year in the ACC. They finished as the 16th seed in the ACC tournament. But for them to win a couple of games, make some noise, he said that was, or Schmidt rather, that was the most rewarding part of the season where his team didn't really just lay over and die in the ACC tournament in Durham.
There is a new pitcher on the mound for a Bourne Braves as well. They turn to their third pitcher of the day as Cameron Seagraves, the North Carolina Tar Heel, will fire a first pitch ball to Antonio Morales. And his third appearance with Bourne this summer, just 2 1/3 coming into it. He's given up 4 earned. Misses low twice now to Morales, who has been a hot bat today, a hot bat the game before. He sat out on Sunday, and a hot bat all year long. Seagraves got a 94-mile-an-hour fastball that he could pump in there, but has ran into some trouble controlling that fastball, throws it high, and a 3-0 count. That time just 91 miles an hour.
He was originally committed to Campbell before their head coach Justin Hare left to take the new head coaching job at Ohio State.
Yep. And it's a 4-pitch walk to Antonio Morales.
Finished as the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of North Carolina, and once he saw Coach Hare left, he said, why not just stay home?
In his freshman year, he got a lot of work. 18 appearances, 17 of those in relief, but he did have a few decisions. He was 2-1 The 4.56 ERA is a very consistent bullpen piece. As a freshman, a very good number, but he wanted no piece of Antonio Morales, who had singled, walked, and doubled before his second walk of the game. Falmouth would love some insurance. 1 on, 1 out for Adrian Lopez. Picking ball, called strike on the outer part of the plate. Lopez is an RBI single back of the first. He reached on an error in the second, and he's grounded out to third. After a 3-for-4 game on Sunday. None of those RBIs. He was batting in the 2 spot. Didn't have a lot go on in front of him, but he scored twice. Punches a fastball fouled out at an 0-2 hole. A lot of times when you're, a freshman reliever, you kind of get started in some midweeks. That's how you get introduced into college baseball. How about this? The second game of the year, he got thrown in against Texas Tech. Threw an inning in 2/3, walked a couple, but didn't give up a base hit, didn't give up a run. And his first 3 appearances of his college career against Texas Tech, Kansas State, and East Carolina only gave up 2 earned runs in those 3 appearances.
It's a good start against some pretty solid opponents.
Start to the Cape season has not gone quite as swimmingly as that. But he's got a 1-2 count on Lopez. Fires a fastball over to first base. And Holcomb says, I didn't know I was playing catcher today.
The TrackMan date on that? My goodness. Got a hole in his mitt right now saying, don't do that again, please.
Tries another 1-2. Lopez doesn't budge. We talked about it with Schmidt as someone who got off to a slower start. Lopez, for good reason, to battle around an injury. Already to have that batting average up to 286 before another single today. It's pretty impressive stuff. And the dangerous Micah News on deck. 2-2 check swing at a tough take from Keenan. I think that hit like his elbow. He's going to take a little bit of time.
I honestly thought it hit Lopez first and then redirected it and then ricocheted off of Keenan.
They call that a foul ball? Yeah, foul ball. So it is a foul ball. 2-2 count stays. And now the Bourne training staff going to come out and look at Keenan.
Maybe that hit the knob of Lopez's bat instead and not his elbow.
Probably what it was. Obviously, when it takes a ricochet like that, you're a catcher. Catchers have quicker reflexes than anyone, and they still have no chance at making a play. And Adrian Lopez says, I've been hit a couple times this season too. A fastball to his head, a throw down before warm-ups ended in an inning, all in 2 weeks of play. Lips healing a little bit though. Keenan's really taking a lot of time.
He's just getting his breath back up to him. He's probably got the wind knocked out of him.
You'd certainly hope that's what it is. Good sign to see him up and walking. It's no pitching change, but catcher changes are often more time-consuming than you see any other 7 positions.
Do have Campbell Smithwick on the bench if they do need him. He started last game against Falmouth.
Smithwick, and of course Gavin Kelly's at second base can also catch. But again, they're in a similar situation to Falmouth where there's 1 guy, or 2 guys rather, on the bench. Campbell Smithwick being one of them, Nick Grooves the other. There's not a ton of hitters on the roster right now, and they're going to let Keenan take a couple pitches to see if he's okay.
Those guys are some tough dudes, no doubt.
The toughest. And Keenan gives the all clear. Adrian Lopez gives him a pat on the back. And if that doesn't show the kind of guy that Adrian Lopez is, I don't know what does. 2-2 count coming up with the runner on first base and 1 out. It's a lot of time between an at-bat that's already taken to the almost the fullest. Sixth pitch awaiting on the 2-2 count. Check swing and another deflection. This time not as hard. Check swing says he went. And here's some confusion. It was a drop third strike because of the check swing. And the runner took off for second, so his first base was occupied at the time of the strikeout pitch. So Lopez has no chance getting down to first. He'll try to get base any way he can, but he struck out for the first time today. Now 2 strikeouts in the inning for Seagraves. But it does get Morales up to scoring position. And the dangerous Mike Caduce blasted a 2-run shot just last inning, or 2 innings ago. That breaking ball low on the first pitch to him. Strikeout and a flyout in his first 2 plate appearances. 1029 OPS coming into today. You don't see a whole lot of guys with that 1,000 benchmark.
He's the only guy in the league right now, Ben. It's probably going to stay that way.
Yeah. Off-speed pitches low. A couple of them here for Seagraves. Puts new in the driver's seat. He's had a couple of these plate appearances. But he's aggressive. He wants to swing. Even if it's 2-0, 3-1 count, he gets anything in the zone. He's going to try to drive it. Not if he can't get anything to hit, though. Now he's up 3-0.
I do love the blue, light blue batting gloves and the light blue arm sleeve as well. Matches nice with the red.
You can't wear that with the Marshall gear, probably. So.
No.
Having a chance to do it with the Falmouth. 3-0, get me over pitch right down the middle for strike 1. Talked about Seagraves getting some time early in the year. He also got some time in postseason play through just a third of an inning against Oklahoma, where he gave up 1 unearned run in that regional. Old strike at the knees. We've run full. Payoff coming with 2 outs. Falmouth's up 4. They've put up 2 in 4 of the first 5 innings. Trying to avoid leaving the 6th blank. Payoff. Hit hard into left. Looking up is Hughes. Going back in front of the wall. And he just has it in front of the wall. New almost did it again. Hughes tried to deke us. He was few feet away from home run number 6 on the year. But Seagraves strands 1 on base. We head to the 7th, still an 8-4 lead for the Commodores on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Connor Lynn, just the second pitcher of the day for Falmouth, now going into his 3rd inning of work. It's a second straight game for the Commodores where we have seen a lot of runs. Alex Valentin, Falmouth got to him early, put up 4 in just 2 innings on him on 6 base hits. Bourne, 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position, though, to put up 4 of their own. Kyle Morrison having a better day today. He's 1 for 2. And then the least surprising thing about all that, Mike Anu, league-leading 5th home run back in the 4th inning. He almost had number 6.
We both got faked out. That was
I think
very
the whole-
well done by Logan Hughes. I'll give him some credit.
I think the whole stadium got deked out
Yeah.
by Logan Hughes, acting like that was going to be gone. Now it's 8-9-1 in the Bourne lineup as we have reached the final third of this ball game. And Connor Lynn has kind of had a roller coaster of a first 3 appearances for Falmouth, trying to get back up on another high. And he has been very good so far. He struck out a couple and 2 scoreless. And John LeGrand leaves a pitch off the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a double play, actually a fielder's choice, back in the second inning, and then RBI single in the fourth. And he hits one hard down the first base line of the diving catch. Schmidt can't make the play. Real hard hit base hit. Back-to-back at-bats with singles for LeGrand, and a lot of production out of that 8-hole. And maybe the most important part of that, too, is take another look at LeGrand just getting the lefty-on-lefty outside pitch and turning on it early.
That single feels like the exact same one he had back in the fourth, where it's an inside pitch, and he just puts it through the 4-3 hole.
And maybe the most important part about that, too, is LeGrand is a menace on the base paths. Hardy's got a stolen base today. Change-ups below the knees now to Jimmy Keenan. We will see take his first at-bat since taking that hit behind the plate.
And that jump he got, too, on that stolen base was remarkably fast.
Change-up, and that gets off the glove, so no stolen base needed as LeGrand's in scoring position. But with nobody out, I don't know if I'd be too surprised to see him take third at any point in this inning.
I think there's still a point in the game where Bourne does have to be careful to play with these 9 outs, and with his speed still, you don't want to run into an out.
Falmouth counting outs, they have done pretty good with leads so far this year. Chatham was their first big comeback victory by more than 2 runs. Once fouled off the bat of Keenan, so LeGrand back to second. It also has worked the other way. They haven't really blown a lot of leads so far this year.
The first one that comes to mind was that Brewster in the 9th inning, where Blake Sear hit that home run to put him in front.
That was just that 1-run lead, though.
Mm-hmm. They tied with Whitey for most of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think they had a 1-0 lead in that game. Keenan 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts.
It was McCann who had that solo home run, his lone one of the season, back in the 8th to tie that at 1.
Yep. So just for the most part, we've talked about, you can kind of tell the first 5 innings of these baseball games what the outcome is going to be. Of course, again, Chatham, the exception back on Sunday. We've already talked about that game a ton. Keenan alive with the 2-2 count, trying to avoid the hat trick. And he hits one hard into left field. That'll drop in for a base hit. LeGrand into third. It's picked up and left early enough to give LeGrand the stop sign. Again, playing with those 9 outs, you need a decent amount of runs. LeGrand not risking anything, and they're on the corners with nobody out.
And a good job by Keenan, who has been off to a rough start in this game with the back-to-back strikeouts. Also getting a little banged up last half inning as well. Comes back up with a bat and bashes one to left.
On a pretty nice spot for it, too. 8 and 9 with back-to-back singles to lead off the inning. Now they're on the corners with nobody out for Riker Wait. 1 for 3 at a solo home run on the first pitch of this ball game, but a pop-up and a strikeout since awesome freshman year at Vanderbilt. Good experience. Didn't get a ton of playing time, though. Only 3 at-bats, struck out in 2 of them. Was 0 for 3 in those 3 at-bats.
And there's definitely been a clear correlation over the last couple of years with Tim Corbin and his confidence in sending his Vandy guys here to Bourne.
Yeah.
I think Scott Landers plays a big part in that as well.
One of the most respected coaches, managers here on the Cape. Change up, called, strike on the inner part. The 3 at-bats for Waite came against Tennessee Tech, Belmont, and Oklahoma, so we did see one SEC opponent this year. And he also walked a couple of times, was hit by a pitch, so he had an on-base percentage of .500. And obviously very small sample size. Tipped off the end of the bat, and Lopez going to let it drop. Will throw to first for out number 1. And the runner stays put at third base. Depth perception from this angle is tough, but it looked to me like he could have stepped on second. That might have just been a bad angle on it.
I think maybe his momentum was just taking him to first where, he has to backtrack to second. Even maybe he thought he would have got to it in general and made the catch on it.
Nonetheless, it keeps the runner at third base, but again, you're at a point in the game where, maybe you would be okay in a different situation. Not saying that situation, but letting one run score to get a couple of outs. Now 8 outs away from grabbing the win, but they're 2 in scoring position. LeGrand stays at third base. Keenan now at second. But a 1 out for the dangerous Gavin Kelly. Slider low and inside. Kelly's got that 2-0 count. Big 12 all-freshman team member. Got better as the year went on in his freshman year. He was 3 for 4 with a couple of ribbies and a home run in a super regional game against LSU this year. And Lynn clips the outside corner. Chucked in the dirt, and a good stop from Bear Harrison, who's been active low in the zone. Connor Lynn, feels like we haven't seen anything from him missing up. Missing down, missing out has been the key for him. But Kelly's 2 for 3 today. Infield single in the first, another single back in the fifth. 3-1 hitters count. Is a ball 4 pitch. Now they're loaded, and Bourne does bring the game-tying run up to the plate in the top of the 7th inning.
Kind of feels a little bit similar to what happened in the 4th inning where Falmouth was up by 5. They felt comfortable, then put up a 3 spot to make this a ball game again, and dangerous SEC bat comes up.
It is someone who can hit home runs, too. 13 of them last year for Kuhio Aloy. He had 70 RBIs, and he hits one hard down the left field line. That's going to score 1. Stop sign late. And Bourne's back within 3, station to station on the bases loaded. RBI single for Kuhio Aloy. He's got himself his first RBI on the Cape this year.
And when you got 70-plus RBIs in a season, you know exactly what pitch you are hunting for when there's runners in scoring position. And it's just a good-looking swing where he just ropes it down the third base line.
Still just 1 out in the inning. Falmouth infield's playing back with the 3-run lead. Cade Lewis, another dangerous hitter, the cleanup man up for Bourne. Tips it off the end of his bat for strike 1. Lewis was the Big East Freshman of the Year 2 seasons ago at Butler. Part of that all-second team Big East as well, where he had .377. He led the conference as a freshman in batting average. Chase is outside, and now he's down 0-2.
And in this frame, you really don't want to get to Logan Hughes, by far the most dangerous bat in this lineup.
When you look at Connor Lynn's best appearance on the year, he didn't really run into any jams like this against Chatham that first time around. 0-2 pitch, just off the plate. Did have situations like this against Hyannis the first time around. That's where those numbers in the ERA ticked above 5 for the first time for him this year. Spoils the 1-2 pitch off the knob of the bat. Lewis has 9 RBIs on the year. An 847 OPS coming into today, and the most impressive, a 341 batting average. And barely anyone in this league is batting 300. But he's got a lefty on lefty with the bases loaded. The 1-2 pitch just got a piece. Pitch 6 of the AB coming up.
A little bit of frustration from Bear Harrison as well. He knew he had that one.
Have to try the 1-2 again. That one hit back up the middle, and Lopez leaps and grabs it, flipped to second, just late. The biggest out, though, Adrian Lopez got it. It pays to have a 6-4 shortstop. All runners stay put, and 2 gone in the 7th.
He was almost trying a deceiving look where he didn't think he was going to flip it to Morales. He was going to take it himself, but great cover by Morales as well on that heads-up play. But most importantly, you get that second out.
Adrian Lopez very patient, doing a good job waiting on it, too. Still the game-tying run on base, Bourne down 3. But just 1 out away from getting out of it is Lynn, and it's Braden Holcomb up. That gets behind Harrison, and sprinting home to score is Caden, and the Braves are within 2. Not only within 2, but the game-tying run moves to scoring position. A single could tie this thing.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier. Connor Lynn has been flirting with the bottom half of that zone where all of his misses have been down there. And that one that gets away from Harrison as well.
Calls for a lot of work from your catcher, and Bear Harrison's done a good job keeping it front up till that one. And it is Joe Sabbath warming in the Falmouth bullpen. Finds the zone on the 1-0.
And that goes down as a pass ball as well for Harrison. Joe Sabbath warming in the Falmouth pen. He's been very reliant in these last couple of innings.
Holcomb, 3 RBIs on the couple here. Could be the biggest of his season. Check swing, and it's low. Lives for these big moments. Had 9 home runs for Vanderbilt. It's got a lot of power, 34 RBIs as well. Slider low for ball 2, and a lot of these counts have gone long for Lynn as his pitch count starting to work up a little bit. Throwing 55 now in just 2 2/3 innings of work. You got to think it's Sabbath's game even if he gets out of this into the 8th. 3-1's low. Connor Lynn issues his second walk of this inning, and they're loaded again in just a 2-run game. Do they make a move to the righty Sabbath before the inning's over? It's the pitching coach, Todd Carroll, to go out and talk to Connor Lynn in a very important conversation coming up.
And this is getting to a point where, again, the longer outing for Connor Lynn, he has been known as that longer reliever this last season at Northern Kentucky. And that pitch count creeping up just a little bit, and you start to wonder, when does the fatigue set in, especially when you get to that second time through the order as well, and Bourne starts to pick up these tendencies a little bit. But, of course, the conversation coming here before Logan Hughes gets up to the plate.
Well, it's no question that Connor Lynn did have some appearances this past school season that got away from him. 8 earned in an inning and a third against Purdue Fort Wayne. Sometimes those innings just snowballed.
Even 5 against Youngstown State in an inning and a third as well.
So game-tying run at scoring position. Falmouth led by as much as 5 in this game. Back when it was 6-1, they only lead by 2. And a huge spot coming up for Logan Hughes, who takes the first pitch for strike 1.
He's been that consistent guy that gets on base. Hasn't come up too clutch so far. He does have just the 3 RBIs.
That one hit right at Ken Schmidt and past his glove. Going to be a late play at first. Throw just in time. Ken Schmidt dropped it, recovered in time, and Antonio Morales makes the play to just get out of it and leave the bases loaded. That was almost dangerous. Might add a tie game. Commodores stay out front as we stay here, as it's stretch time, but also time for America the Beautiful.
The Falmouth Newcomers to sing America the Beautiful. Written by Falmouth's own Catherine Lee Bates. Whenever you're ready, newcomers.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot dreams that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Absolutely beautiful. Let's hear it.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
The Cape League All-Stars will shine once again on July 19th at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth for the 2025 Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star Game. Don't miss an action-packed day of All-Star Day festivities. Buy your tickets today at capecodbaseballstore.org. That's capecodbaseballorg.org. Head into the bottom of the 7th inning stretch away, and a big play to get Falmouth out of the top of the 7th inning.
Yeah, an unbelievable heads-up play, if you will, for Kent Schmidt, where he knocks it down. But even the heads-up play as well to go and cover the bag and not kind of get stuck in no man's land as well. And also the great reach as well after Morales' throw was a little bit errant because he had to be so quick off balance.
Bourne proved at the top of the 7th they're not done yet. Falmouth would love some insurance runs, as there is a replacement defensively for Bourne. Cable Smithwick enters the game for Jimmy Keenan as the catcher. Keenan took that hit a couple of innings ago in the first pitch to Kent Schmidt's chest tie for strike one. As we'll take a look at that again, where Kent Schmidt, I mean, both Morales and Schmidt make great plays here. Schmidt realizing he doesn't have it and having to make a quick sprint to first base. Morales backing it up beautifully. And Kent Schmidt skies one high into the dark right field night. Loy's got it for out number 1. Back-to-back flyouts for Schmidt.
The catcher from Texas A&M, number 27, Harrison.
Crowd cleared out a little bit, but still a very good attendance on hand to see the finish between a back-to-back games at Gov Fuller Field for Falmouth that were pretty high scoring.
Yeah, they love to make it interesting, don't they?
Falmouth down 4 against Chatham. Before tying it up, they went down 2 after that as well and got the 9-7 win. They have not trailed in this game since it was 1-0 Bourne on a solo home run of the first pitch of the game from their leadoff man, Riker Waite. Harrison chases the 1-0. It's 1 for 3 with the single, ground out, and a fly out.
It really feels like, too, that Falmouth needs at least 1 or 2 runs to feel comfortable about these final 6 outs.
All 8 of their runs came in the first 4 innings. They scored 2 in each of the first 4 frames. Change up, caught on, and missed by Harrison. Down 1-2. Did come around to score back in that 3rd inning on an RBI single from Kyle Morrison. Scored him in different ways, too. An RBI single, RBI ground out the first 2 runs in that 1st inning. It's chucked into the dirt. Then they scored on an error back in the 2nd. A couple of them scored on the error in the 2nd. 2 RBI singles back-to-back at bat to the 3rd, and the 2-run home run for Mike Anu. Power, contact, small ball, whatever you want. Falmouth's giving it to you today. But Bourne still on the doorstep. 2-2 pitch. Barry Harrison chased it for strike 3. Seagraves gets his 3rd strikeout through the first 5 outs. An inning and 2/3 and 28 pitches for him now.
Definitely a lot of credit to Potok in the back end of his outing, as well as Cameron Seagraves. It feels like they've done enough, Ben, to keep Bourne in this one and give that offense a chance. This Falmouth offense has been stifled.
Butrani to make sure Falmouth doesn't go down quietly in the bottom of the 7th. And he's first pitch swinging. Pop into right center. Ed LeGrand doesn't have to make much movement, and he does at the end. An awkward play. He dove at it, misread it, and it drops. I think. No, he caught it. He fired it back into the infield, which made me think he dropped it. That was an awkward play from John LeGrand. These Bourne outfielders are making it tough on us today. But it's a 1-2-3 inning, and an eventful 1-2-3 inning on the back end. We head to the 8th on Cape League TV.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Landon Moran, first baseman outfielder from Stetson University, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Almost feels like we have some banana ball at the end of that bottom of the 7th inning, a routine fly ball where John LeGrand had to make a late adjustment and a little extra burst to make the play. Also chucked the ball back into the infield like it dropped in front of him. But
that was an amazing sequence.
It was a 1-2-3 inning in that 8th. That's just an inning before a couple innings before was when Logan Hughes made us think that Mike Adu had his second home run of the game. Looking up at it, then making the play at the wall for the last second. Now it's Joe Sabbath, the third pitcher of the day for the Commodores, making appearance number 5 on the summer for him. He's been great in his first 4, 1.93 ERA. Not much of a long reliever, 4 2/3 in his first 4 appearances. Swing and a miss, and the first hitter he faces in Ryan Cooney. And for Sabbath, too, leads this team with appearances now making his 5th. 9 strikeouts to 3 walks. Let's let some guys on base, 1.5 whip. The Rhode Island Ram. Team that won the Atlantic 10, made their way to the regional before, getting bounced pretty early. And went 0-2.
And someone who's been that go-to 8th, 9th guy for Jared Soltomaki when you need some outs in the back end of these games. This is who you turn to.
Immediately down 0-2 is Cooney, the Oregon Duck. Swing and a miss, 3-pitch strikeout. The first batter that Sabbath faces. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. And that is in the breaking ball to keep it low on the ground is what Sabbath does. He's got his strikeout stuff working for him so far this summer. See it right there, getting Cooney to go down low.
Someone who utilized that slider really well, especially with 2 strikes.
Uses that about 40% of the time. Fastball about half the time as well. So those are the 2 dominant pitches. He throws a curveball and a change once in a blue moon. And now Legrand's first pitch swinging. High down the third base line. Now a late adjustment, and it drops. Legrand sprints up to second base. We have seen so many of those balls get lost in the lights, lost in the sun, whatever it may be. This time, it's the third baseman Newstrom. Just 2 at-bats in the third out of that bottom of the 7th inning is when we saw something similar happen to Legrand, but he did actually make the play.
That reminded me of the exact same play that did just happen to Legrand, where he looks comfortable underneath it. Then you look at the last second. Oh, it looks a little bit wayward and has to try to reach out to make that play. And it goes down as an E5, and not what you need if you're Falmouth with this lead really dwindling.
E5, like you mentioned, both teams have an error, and Bourne's got a runner in scoring position with 1 out. That one fouled back for the newest Brave into this game, Eastwick. Campbell Smithwick, hometown guy through and through. From Oxford, Mississippi. Didn't make any other thoughts about going anywhere other than Ole Miss. Running Rebel. Fastball a bit in for ball 1 to him. And he replaces Jimmy Keenan after his first couple of seasons at Ole Miss. Finally take a step away from home this upcoming season and go to Stillwater, play for Oklahoma State. It's gone from down 0-1 to up 2-1 in the count now.
It's got to be a tough thing to do. Grow up in Oxford your whole life, the school you go to games watching when you're a kid, and then to have to say goodbye to that place. Can't be easy.
He's hitting .316 in a smaller sample size this summer as well. Just 19 at-bats for him so far. He's 6 for 19. All 6 of those for singles, though. He's got a base knock, or an RBI knock, and a .751 OPS. He took over for Keenan so that his day's done. Went 1 for 3 with a single and 2 strikeouts and took a tough hit to the chest. 2-1 pitch fouled off. Falmouth in action tomorrow night, and actually the next 5 days they'll play 6 straight without a break. They go to YD tomorrow to play the Red Sox for the 2nd time today, or this year. Check on Legrand again. We'll take a look at some scores around the league. It was an 8-0 lead for Cotuit. They finished that game in 8 with an 8-2 win over YD to snap their 9-game winning streak. Chatham a 9-2 lead or over Wareham just in the 5th inning of that game. Brewster all over the Firebirds, 7-0. Swing and a miss here for Smithwick. Sabbath's second strikeout. I flipped the lineup card over, but Riker waits, the last hope. Still the game-tying run at the bottom of the 8th, but Sabbath just needs 4 outs to get out of it. If he can get out of this quickly, you'd assume the 9th will be his as well. Nobody warming in the Falmouth bullpen. Waite started this game, took the first pitch of the ball game, and deposited it over the left field scoreboard. And one pitch here, he's hit on the elbow. Able to shake that off pretty quickly, and again, Bourne puts the game-tying run on base. Gavin Kelly, a big at-bat coming. Infield single of the 1st, single back at the 5th, walked in the 7th, so he's reached 3 times. Beautiful curveball called, strike 1 to him. Waite's got a decent amount of speed at first base as the leadoff hitter. It's about as most speed you're going to see on the base paths. Didn't attempt a stolen base this past season. He was only on base 3 times for Vanderbilt in the spring. But, of course, LeGrand had 12 of them. And foul back. Sabbath used in a lot of different roles for Rhode Island this past year. His 28 appearances, all in relief, but at different spots in relief. But mostly settled into a bit of a closer role. He had 8 saves last year. This one's off the end of the bat and a right into the glove. And Mike Adu. Couple reach for Bourne on an error and a walk, but they're now down to the last 3 outs. Falmouth to try to add on at the bottom of the 8th on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Commodores fans, join us on Thursday, July 10th to meet the coaches. Get to know new field manager Jared Saltalamacchia and the rest of the coaching staff at this can't-miss event. Head to falmouthcommodores.com for more information. It's falmouthcommodores.com. It's a very talented pitching or coaching staff, I should say, for Falmouth. Saltalamacchia has got his full crew, 5 assistants, all of them with different backgrounds. Hitting coach Jack O'Reilly would like to see his team score a couple runs for some insurance before they try to close it out at the top of the 9th. It'll be 8-9-1. And the Falmouth lineup to try to add on. It is still Cameron Seagraves on the mound for Bourne. He's completed 2 in just 29 pitches. And Morrison pops one down the third baseline. Give it a chase is Cooney. And he's got it. Out of play, though, yeah. That's out of play. Cooney confused all the way down the third baseline.
Yeah, there's that invisible line that runs at the end of the warning track from the dugout. Always those fascinating open spaces here at Cape Cod Fields.
We've had some controversy with that just a game ago at Chatham. It's good to see, though, that in play is cleared. We had some kids in play on Sunday. Still just a foul ball, and Morrison will send it right into the ground to Kelly, who bobbles it at first, and he'll lose it. Another Bourne error. We've seen a few errors today for both sides. That's number 2 for the Braves. Kyle Morrison reaches first for the 3rd time. That ball just ate him up. I think it got to him a little quicker than he expected.
Takes that extra hop at the end and just hit him in the hands. Also, Ben Royo is going to pinch run here for Kyle Morrison.
So that's it for Kyle Morrison, who's playing left field. I think maybe Royo goes and plays second, Morales out to the outfield.
Put Morales out and left, yeah.
Morales started most of his games at right field so far this year. Put a man on with nobody out for Newstrom. The third baseman today, you made an error. Another guy who's played both the outfield and the infield. I haven't had a ton of looks at third base like he had today. Nice ball right down the middle for strike 1. Newstrom, one of the younger guys on this Falmouth team, as a Tennessee volunteer. Picked a pretty good year to commit to Tennessee. Heads to Knoxville after they win that national championship in 2024. One change-up off the plate. The last 6 national championships in college baseball have belonged to the SEC. LSU this most recent season, Tennessee before that, and LSU again in 23. Both the Mississippi schools, Ole Miss and Mississippi State right after COVID, and then Vanderbilt right before COVID. Check swing didn't go. Both of these teams have got a decent amount of SEC guys. Royo on base right now, also an SEC guy.
Is there anything the SEC isn't good at? Hockey?
I can't think of an SEC team that has a hockey team. They don't have a lacrosse either. They don't even have men's soccer, which is the most surprising one to me.
Interesting. Well, Florida plays women's lacrosse. They play in the ASUN.
That's fun to see, Florida in the ASUN.
Yeah.
Newstrom stays alive with a 2-2 count. Ben Royo over at first. Seagraves comes home off the plate for ball 3. ACC's no slouch either, where Cameron Seagraves comes from. And in his 21 appearances this year, he had 7 of them against ACC opponents. Some notable ones pitched at Florida State on the 17th of May. Did give up a run in just 2/3 of an inning, but that's a Florida State team who was number 9 in the country. Payoff coming to Chris Newstrom. Runner takes off. Newstrom fouls it off. So Royo back to first. I do love, we talked about it on Sunday, the dugout having some fun with our PA announcers, William Rosen's way of saying Chris Newstrom.
It's beautiful.
It is. It gets to an octave that I just can't reach.
It's become, the players have become so fond of it. Now when they talk to Chris, they say, hello, Chris Newstrom. It's fantastic.
Well, he's awaiting pitch number 7 of this AB. Still nobody out of the 9th. Commodores up 2. Another payoff down on strikes. Strikeout number 4 of the game for Seagraves. He's now at 2 1/3. So 4 of his 7 outs recorded happened via the K. He's had a pretty good appearance. He has yet to give up a run. Walked 1. He's those 4 strikeouts, getting that ERA down from 15 to 7 right now. First pitch to the top of the lineup at Carl Schmitz right down the middle of the plate. Single walk in his first 2 appearances, the line out and a strikeout since. Now Royo Arroyo takes off again. Got the swing. A good throw is high, though, and does not get the tag down. Ben Arroyo's got a stolen base. And another insurance run at scoring position. Falmouth stole a lot of bases on the year. Bourne's done the same. And that's exactly what we saw. But Carl Schmidt is down on strikes. And I think the throw down to second got him. There's a conversation between Saltalamacchia and Gomez, the home plate umpire.
This reminds me of that similar situation where it was strike 3 with the 1 out. But it wasn't batter's interference because then the runner would have been out.
Well, Arroyo's back at first base right now. And Carl Schmidt's heading to the dugout.
So that was strike 3, I believe.
So that is the second out of the inning on strike 3, but Arroyo's back at first base. It's happened twice today, not sure why, but Antonio Morales with 2 outs. This ball for ball 1. Antonio Morales has not been retired since Saturday. Only started 1 game, of course, and he's reached all 4 times with a couple of walks, a single and a double. The throw over to first. Morales playing in a couple of really good baseball conferences, going from the ACC to, in my opinion, one of the most underrated baseball conferences in the Big Ten, with Maryland and the Maryland program that's trying to get back on track.
That sounds like a biased pick to me. 2 Big Ten guys.
Well, Morales lifts one to left, right into the glove of a Big 12 member, Logan Hughes, for out number 3. 3 outs to work with. It'll get started with Kuhio Aloy as we get back to the top of the 9th, rather. 8-6, Falmouth lead. Commodores trying to make it 2 straight on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Ben Arroyo, shortstop from Texas A&M, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
The last 17 innings here at Gov Fuller Field. I've seen a combined 30 runs. There's 14 in today's game, but it's a Falmouth 8-6 lead. They're trying to make it 2 straight, rather, with Joe Sabbath, the designated closer for Rhode Island, trying to pick up a save today. And make that a 6-out save. Came in to start off the 8th inning. Ben Royal will remain in the game as a second baseman, as Antonio Morales goes to right and Carl Schmidt goes to left. So Morales playing that normal right field position. Schmidt can play both corner outfielders, and Royal ran for Morrison. So that's the switch. It is the heart of the lineup for Bourne to try to come back. And Kuhio Aloy, the right fielder from Arkansas, to start things off. Strike 1 at the knees. Picked up his first RBI of the summer. It's just his 3rd start on an RBI single back in the 7th inning. Down 0-1, change up at the dirt. He's waiting to see where his brother goes. in the upcoming 2025 MLB draft. Mid-July. Sneaking up on us. Good to have some other Arkansas teammates go as well. Gage Wood, who threw a no-hitter in the College World Series. And Aloy gets off to a nice start. Leadoff single in the top of the 9th inning. His second base hit in his many at-bats. Game-tying run will come to the plate in the 9th. You deal with 4, 5, 6 after this, too. Lewis, Holcomb, and Hughes. Bourne trying to come back and pick up their first win of the last 5 and avoid that 5-game losing streak. Lewis fouled back behind the net. One for Ford today. And again, we've talked about it, just how clutch Hughes is. But Butler and Wake Forest really spent a lot of time at the top of the lineup where didn't have a ton of RBI situations. Batting first and second, and the majority of his career games in college. Got him even 1-1 count of the slider. 16 batted in this past season. Sabbath throws over to first. Keep a close eye on Aloy, who did not have a single stolen base in his first 2 years of college and school ball, starting his career at BYU, now at Arkansas. This one's hit deep into left, and still got a good beat on it. Carl Schmidt will make the play to keep Aloy at first base. This broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. More now down to their last 2 outs with Holcomb coming to the plate. Ton of opportunities against really good pitchers is Braden Holcomb. Already got a lot of at-bats, still hitting below the Mendoza line, despite that single back in the 6th inning. It's his only hit today. And he tips one off the face mask of Bear Harrison. Bear doesn't flinch.
Also cut the mask of Marvin Gomez as well.
Triple whammy. Sabbath, 8 saves a season ago. A lot of them against Atlantic 10 opponents where Rhode Island resides. Got a couple to open the year against William and Mary, and the most impressive one against an Oregon. They pitched inning in 2/3, did give up a run. This ball runs in, though, to make it 1-1 for a Rhode Island team that had a very impressive season. And he is a true closer, one of those guys who can go back 3 straight games. He did it against St. Louis, appeared on the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. Closer, but also somewhat of a fireman if they needed him in an earlier inning to get out of a jam in those 3 appearances against St. Louis.
And the longest outing went against Little Rock in that elimination game where they eventually fell.
He went 3 1/3 there, got roughed up a bit, 5 earned runs. Slider just off the plate for ball 1.
Get him out of that traditional role of 1 inning, however many pitches, we'll take you out. Wasn't really the case in a do-or-die game against the Trojans.
Always a tough adjustment to make, yeah. Now a hitter's count for Holcomb coming up. It's 3-1 as Sabbath's looking for his 2nd save on the year. He had one earlier in the season. The ERA still sits below 2. Got a couple of strikeouts in that 8th inning. This will be a 6-out save. Logan Hughes on deck and Ryan Cooney in the hole with 1 gone. Sabbath out of the stretch, the 3-1. And you can tell Holcomb taking that all the way. Beautiful movement. Holcomb waiting for a fastball and a huge payoff pitch coming, arguably the biggest of the game.
That's the new thing pitchers are doing a whole lot more is that 3-1 pitch. It's often traditionally been that fastball, but even breaking out the hook once in a while with your slider or curveball, go ahead.
Sabbath throws over to first. Bourne took a 1-0 lead in this game with a solo home run off the bat of Riker Waite. Falmouth would score the next 6, 2 in each of the first, second, and third innings at the bottom. Bourne made it interesting with 3 of their own at the top of the 4th before a 4th straight 2-run frame. Put the lead back up to 4, and 2 in Bourne for the 7th. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Braden Holcomb watches and thinks for a second. A huge strikeout, number 3 of the day for Joe Sabbath, and he's 1 out away from winning this thing. Just 3-2 pitch goes with a simple heater and blows it past Holcomb. That's why Holcomb frustrated. He could have had that pitch, and it's all down to Logan Hughes. Picked up RBIs number 4 and 5 of the summer back in the 4th with a 2-run double. First pitch is below the knees to him. 58 RBIs at Texas Tech this spring. Such a clutch hitter. He had 19 home runs. First team all Big 12 member. Change up, just low for ball 2. Now he's in the driver's seat of this at-bat, where Joe Sabbath has gotten down in some of these counts and done a nice job fighting back. He has not walked a batter yet. Does have a hit by pitch back in the 8th inning. And he'll take an extra look at Aloy, who has not attempted a stolen base yet this summer.
I don't think Joe really is going to worry about that runner on first either way.
That's not the run that matters. It is Hughes with a 2-0 count, make it 3-0. And you don't want to put the game-tying run on base for Ryan Cooney. Sabbath, the 3rd pitcher of the day for Falmouth. He has eaten a lot of innings for this team through 14 games. Josh gets the 3-0 pitch in there to stay alive in this at-bat. Sabbath looks home again on the 3-1 and throws it off the plate for ball 4. Game-tying runs at first base with Logan Hughes. Just as I was gassing up the Big Ten, here comes Ryan Cooney, the Oregon Duck. Now a short word for Bear Harrison with his closer, Joe Sabbath. You can tell Falmouth wants to use him in the same role that he was kind of used at Rhode Island as the closer. And his Texas A&M closer is going to give him some words. You do get to the bottom 3rd now with Cooney, the 7-hitter, who has not had his best today. 0 for 4 with a double play, a fielder's choice, pop up and strike out. Batting average well below the Mendoza line. Will call for a pinch hitter for the Bourne Braves, and it is Nick Groves. Another Big Ten guy. They go Big Ten to Big Ten. It's the Illinois Fighting Illini. Transferred over from Niagara. 43 appearances for Illinois this past year. And a check swing ball below the going for ball 1. Groves also hitting below the Mendoza line at 143 this summer. Chopper to first base. Nice pick by Schmidt. And Sabbath races over to first to cover and end this thing of the 9th. 2 in a row for Falmouth. High-scoring affairs. And the Commodores, for the first time since the first week of the season, get back to 500 at 7-7. And it's yet another big win against a divisional opponent, the second time they've taken down the Braves.
This team's feeling good. They're rolling right now. When that ball left the ballpark in that first inning off that first pitch, it felt like it was just going to be one of those nights where there was a whole lot of offense, and there certainly was. 14 runs and combined 19 hits, 3 errors, too, a little bit of sloppy defense. But when it comes time to getting the job done, this team did it in the early going, and again, there was a little bit of point in that game where the scares and the nerves kicked in just a little bit, especially with the way Bourne's pitching was in getting them back in this game. But for them to really kind of settle down, that pitching really take care of business in the back half, and then offense really slowed. You know, one night it's going to be the offense, one night it's going to be the defense, and it was a little bit of half and half tonight, and it worked out.
And what do you know? What proved to be the difference, the most recent 2 runs was on the 2-run shot from Micah New. It's his 5th of the season. He is all by himself for the lead for the Cape League. And our 3rd member of our crew, Ryan Martin's got him after the win. Guys, for some technical difficulties with the interview from Micah New. And we've known Micah for a long time now, and I think you know what he's going to say. All team-oriented after that 2-run home run, and this is a Falmouth team where you started to see some trends earlier in the year with low scoring all around the league. Now scores starting to get a little bit higher, and the Commodores have been one of the best offensive teams in the league in the last week or so.
And you're going to need those big bats of Micah New to really get the job done down the stretch. I mean, it can't just be the Micah New show every night and rely on a guy to go deep and have 3-4 RBIs. There have to be other contributors in the lineup, and we certainly saw that today. You go down 1 through 9, you can pick any player, and they did something good for this team today, whether it was on the offense or defensive end. I think about the huge play that Kent Schmidt had to play, and back in that 8th inning when the bases were loaded and the ball deflected off his glove, and Morales has to make that play and keep Schmidt on the bag to keep it a 2-run game, and it all works out in the end for Falmouth. But it just feels like both ends of clicking right now in this team. We started the broadcast with it, playing some of their best ball right now, and that couldn't reign true after winners of 4 of their last 5.
Well, for the 2nd straight game, offense is the story, but also defense really helped Falmouth out. Kent Schmidt made another spectacular play at first base to seal this one off. The defense has been so solid for the Commodores all year long. That'll do it for our coverage of the Falmouth Commodores and Bourne Braves at action tomorrow night at YD Red Wilson Field, where the Commodores will take on the Red Sox, one of the hottest teams in the Cape League. From my partner, Andrew Delapiana, the 3rd member of our crew, Ryan Martin, Dan Papillo, our producer, Kyle Klama, our director, signing off for an 8-6 Falmouth Commodore.